Okay. So, Kevin, would you set the scene for where you and Vladimir have connected?
Sure. This is Alexi's little kind of hovel in the side of the cliff neighborhood where Alexi, a Buma cleric who has forsaken the sky, offers sort of healing and consultation and negotiation and conflict resolution to his neighbors. Last session, we started off where Alexi was trying to like broker peace, but in a squabble between the neighbor families, and he blew it and just kind of backed away as the conflict like escalated more and more. So hopefully this one goes better. Alexi is going to try to use a healing kit to heal Vastamir, who's another Buma.
Yes.
You're like Buma Central here. All right. And we're rolling against wisdom because it's an infected wing. Oh my God. Do you want an extra wing? You want a third wing? Because like I can get you a third wing if you want a third wing.
I think I will. I think 2 will be good enough.
All right, Jason. It is a 12 plus 1, so a lucky 13. So that wing, man, like, do you want a different color? Like, you know, we can customize it.
All right, awesome. Yeah, so that we'll say that happened like midweek before this current mission, and by the time that week wraps up, Vlastimir's wing is no longer painful. There's no the swelling's gone down, and you know, you give a little test glide off of some.
Yeah.
What does Vladimir jump off of to give a little test glide to his wing?
I don't know. I would say he probably goes down towards the bottom of the cliff face and tries to jump to get his practice test gliding going, and then, you know, kind of works his way upward. What is your fee for your healing services?
Well, you know, a fellow Buma, obviously stranger in a strange land. I will say that the healing kits aren't cheap, actually, and probably about 10 silver would recoup my my costs.
10 silver.
Well, I'll tell you, the healing kits are 15 for 3 uses, and I just burned a use. So I figure, you know, my materials are 5, and then, you know, Zemdrak's got to eat.
10 silver. I could buy.
And
what's
feel how that wing is. See if it
I could
doesn't
buy an
feel
entire
like
horse
even
for
better
that.
than normal.
I'm gonna try and bargain that down.
Well, of course, Alexi's big mistake was healing you first.
Well, yes, but I still have to pay you something.
Do you not have it?
Money?
Yeah.
That's not it. That's not the point. It would be an offense to my ancestors not to bargain properly.
What does Vastamir look like?
He is a very average, somewhat scrawny looking Buma. He is, you know, he looks like he's in good health. However, he's wearing good quality clothing at this point. You know, you can see that he has a nice big war hammer that's all freshly polished up. I spent some of my money on improving the quality of my clothing because he's vain.
Oh, nice.
No scarring on those feathers, man. It was
Yes.
a 13. Like, you are going to have no problems with that wing going forward.
Oh, so you're getting me
No
right in my
scarring,
vein.
no
Okay,
bad
fine.
feathers, no
For the
little
cosmetic,
gaps in the
for the
plumage.
cosmetic, he will cough up to 10.
Lovely plumage. Lovely.
Yes.
Evan, did you really paid money to upgrade your clothing to what quality?
I did. Yes.
From common to quality, or were you up
From common to quality. Yes.
Okay, that happened during downtime, right?
That happened during downtime. Yes.
Mark XP for that, because that is a beautiful expression of being vain.
It just seemed like what he would do.
All right, great.
And I'm going to just use that money to replenish the healing kit. I just marked that down on my, assuming that a healing kit's purchasable.
Yeah. You can. Yep. Here, there's no problem for that. Great.
Come back anytime. Have fun storming the castle.
Well, I think.
Who told you about that?
I think Vladimir is still there. He was.
Who told you about my plans?
I think Vlastimir's still there when who's the leader on this mission? I forget who initiated this one. Anybody?
I organized it like as a favor to the group, but I originally wasn't supposed to be on it. But
okay. Well then, this is totally. We'll have Laylee be the leader then, and
okay.
I think Laylee has communicated with Alexei already about this, and I think Alexei has communicated with Boga, right? Like, because they just got back from, or a week or so ago, got back from Demir, and I think Laylee and Boga show up, while you've just wrapped up this negotiation. And that's how Vladimir hears about the mission, is you guys are all at Alexei's little hole in the wall, little roost. And this is probably Boga and Laylee's first meeting. So briefly, would you guys describe each of your characters, since you've never met before? Starting with, you guys are approaching on the ledge on either side, Laylee and Boga sort of seeing each other moving, facing each other, coming from opposite directions on this ledge. And what does Laylee see? What does Boga look like?
Oh, you see in a Banquan, in a beautiful robes, just like finest quality. He's got a kind of a green, I think mostly he's wearing green right now. And he's carrying his a little bit of gear, but mostly what you notice is his big bagpipes. So obviously this guy is, and he's an Imnaquin. So he's an Imnaquin bard, obviously, carrying his bagpipes. He's got beautiful, like thick fur, really prominent, kind of a Van Dyke looking white beard and mustache. He carries himself very well. He's not a very big guy, kind of scrawny, but definitely has a sense of himself moving through the crowd.
Great. And then what does Boga see when he sees Laylee?
If we're walking along these ledges, I think like Laylee is sort of like, she just moves kind of along these heights, like without a care in the world, right? The distance and like small areas to like jump to, like she does with ease. She's like a 15-year-old girl. She carries very little. She has like nothing on her save for like a rope and a dagger and a couple small pouches, and wears leather armor that looks like she probably should be like caring for it better. But you get the sense that like she either just doesn't care or doesn't know what she's doing. She's got this mess of like curly dark hair that actually like now she's trying to like tie up in like a red scarf in like the fashion of like some of the upper class women in town. But she does it like really inexpertly. And so like, it's sort of like, it's like barely holding her hair in place, and it's still sort of like, her hair is still just like a mess, and it looks actually sort of stupid, I think. But she doesn't care because she thinks it looks good.
And I think it's because Laylee is like, so there's people moving back and forth on this kind of wide ledges, and Boga's moving through the crowd. And, you see Laylee actually pop up onto the cliffside and move along above the people, right? Like, and you're like, aha, that must be the person that Alexei told me about, right? Like Alexei said that, she can climb any surface. So that must be her. And then the four of you have gathered at Alexei's roost.
Jason, how much time was there between the vanquishing of the Black Demons of Demir and the start of current play?
I think let me go back to the let's see. Oh, 1 day.
1 day. Fair enough.
You guys basically got back yesterday. Yesterday was the big party in Demir. You walked home. God, because that came after you guys helped the owl with the stolen thing, right? Wow. Lots happened.
It's been a busy campaign. It's
been busy, yeah. So the celebration of Demir happened yesterday. You guys all walked back to Munhadir and then spent the night. You probably already set up this thing with the artifact dealer, right? Or Laylee had it set up, I guess, while you were
Yeah,
gone.
I got
And
this.
so, yeah, you get back and Laylee's got this job waiting for you. So yeah.
Gotcha. One day. All right.
That's great. Rolling from one into the other.
Yeah. No, I'm just trying to figure out if there's time to acquire equipment, but that seems like maybe not so much.
Well, I mean, you don't have to set off on the mission today, right? And we can just
Oh, fair enough.
fair
enough.
It's not a time-based mission. It's just like, well, I mean, you're going to learn what it is, but you could totally have time at this point to acquire more gear and whatnot.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm interested. Alexi is now level 3, by the way.
What?
Whoa.
So is Laylee, actually.
Oh man.
Wow.
Yeah, super cool.
Level 3.
So an odd level, you just you mark 2 abilities, you get an extra hit die, and you reset luck back to whatever luck was.
You increase, you regain luck equal to your new level. So you regain. 3
Oh,
luck.
interesting. I maybe have better read an old version of the
It
rules.
may be.
My
Yeah,
apologies.
the current one is to regain equal to your new level. Mark abilities and increase your hit point. Yeah, roll your hit die to increase your hit points. Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
I
Yeah, it's-
now have 5 hit points.
Oh man,
Wow.
you got a
I
10.
know.
Yeah, so is there any, do you guys want to go meet your contact first, or do people want to go shopping?
I mean, shouldn't we talk to the guy who's going to hire
Let's talk
us?
to the guy. I love that.
The mission and everything, you know?
Oh, and Alexi is a somewhat older looking Booma, a little bit on the slightly heavy set side, looks a little more robust than he used to. Maybe he's coming out of his funk or the power of Zemdrak, goes within him, but he's feeling a little more robust than he used to be. Hit points definitely better. He carries a walking stick of many colors, which has got all these prayers. Each of one is written on colored kind of ribbons that are all wrapped around this walking stick that he uses sort of to get around. And he's a little unusual for Booma in that he doesn't fly. You never see the wings, and he's sort of, Zemdrak is earth aspected. So it's all about the ground and the people who walk on it. I know Vastamir and Alexi have just met.
Yeah, I gotta wonder if Vlastimir has heard of Zemdrak, who is a Booma deity, right?
I would guess so then, yeah, because so is his deity. I mean, his deity is Booma as well. So he is a worshiper of Arthu.
Oh,
Is
yes.
Zemdrak a clerical type person?
You mean Vlastimir?
Oh,
Vlastimir is a paladin of
Paladin.
Arthu.
Oh, oh my God, we twin pillar paladins last episode. So awesome.
The Booma god of ambition and theft.
Hey, Jason, I think Zemdrak is actually not Ukreet. I think he's from another pantheon,
Okay.
because Alexi's really like out of the whole Ukreet loop.
Oh, okay. In that case, no, I probably don't know who Zemdrak is. Vlastimir is not well educated into things religious. He had a, road to Damascus vision of Arthu who told him to go do things, and so he's doing that. But, he doesn't really have a strong education in these matters.
Okay, so maybe finds a little curious that this Booma's wings are contained, like bound to his body, or at least totally out of sight, like
Concealed. I don't think
concealed,
we're
okay.
quite hair shirt kind of doing like
Okay.
I don't think it's a binding or a self-punishing thing. I think it's more they he keeps under, and you may not notice it at first, but you're like, that dude's not flying. Like, he didn't fly once. Like, what's up with that?
Kevin, what is Vlastimir's wisdom?
Oh, it's not great. It's 8.
No,
Or
it's
minus
not
1.
terrible. Okay.
It's not terrible, but he's not, the most outward. He's not the most observant.
Got it. And he's a little self-involved, right?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
definitely self-involved.
Okay, so he doesn't pick up the vibe. Like, he doesn't. I mean, Alexi, for a Booma, Alexi's definitely giving off this vibe, like a different feeling, right? Like bound to the earth kind of thing, which is really different. So maybe maybe Vladimir doesn't pick that up at all.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably pick it up eventually, but it might take a little whacking over the head before it really is like, hey.
Okay.
And Lexi, of course, knows Lele and Boga and thinks that they're awesome. Though Lexi's a little like, I would love to get those two back together, but are they really right for each other? Are they really, now that we know that the one guy was, sort of only in it for the stuff? Is that really right for our little, the scholar?
Yes. Everyone knows that it's probably just, a smoldering ember of love that's just kind of been burning under the surface, and it just needs, a little spark to reignite. And that's what we're going to do.
Love it.
So for those of you that don't know, on the last mission that Alexi and Laylee were on together, there were two Booma individuals who were estranged, let's say. and Laylee has made it a mission to, among Laylee's many projects that Laylee's working on, to get them back together, right?
It's very important.
Which may be a challenge because one of them wants to murder the other one.
True love knows no
Probably
bounds.
with good grounds. I mean, I hate to say it, like probably justifiably she wants to murder that guy, but
Just a misunderstanding. Conflicts and love, really, when it's true love, it can't be separated.
I love it. It's so great.
Okay, so that this is all happening. You guys are like walking through the streets on your way to Fortune's Gate, which is the northern gate out of the city, out of the town. I mean, or Laylee knows. Laylee's probably of all of you the most street savvy. Boga knows a thing or two because Boga talks a lot to people and interacts with people a lot and entertains in various quarters. And so Boga has a lot of information, but Laylee's the one who's sort of most well-traveled within the walls of the town. And Laylee knows very well that near Fortune's Gate is an antiquarian named Abir al-Radwan. And she takes the three of you to his shop, which is just off the main square. You can see there's a fountain for people to get water right here. Fortune's Gate's pretty bustling. It's the gate that sort of leads out to both the Mere and the Western Wild. So, explorers, people going out to map or to investigate the wilds go through this gate. And it is so called because of it's kind of a blessing gate. Like when you go out through it, there's marks around the inside of the archway that are supposed to bestow blessings from Layamut on those who seek fortune. And Laylee takes you to Abir's shop. So this is Abir, and Laylee, you know him to be someone who thinks very highly of himself. He thinks without question he's the best at what he does. He's the best at acquiring, paying people to acquire artifacts from the wilds and elsewhere, and which he then sells to local collectors or sends off to the capital for a greater profit when it's worth the trip. He doesn't deal just in kind of collectibles. He deals in all kinds of stuff. There's like a section of his shop that's essentially a pawn shop, right? So he's got like it's not like he has a certain standard for stuff that he sells, but he sells all kinds of different stuff. But he has a particular interest in acquiring ancient goods from the Ajat civilization. So he is dealing with a customer when you come in. It's very it's warm outside mid-morning, and it's very cool inside his shop. It smells of some kind of musky incense of some kind, and he sees you entering, and he kind of like begs forgiveness from the customer that he's dealing with, and then actually no, he asks you to wait, and then he finishes dealing with that person, and then manages to sell them like a copper bedpan, and then sends them on their way, and turns his attention to you, and he looks very kind of assesses the four of you. Tell me, girl, who is it that you have brought for this task?
Oh, well, I know that you are very particular about who you hire, and you are very particular about what you sell. And so I have assembled for you perhaps the best group of mercenaries here in Munadir. Heroes they are. Perhaps you've heard the songs in the streets about what went on at the iron mines. These two right here, responsible for that. Heroes, I'm telling you, and they're here to work for you.
Is it true what they say?
I start playing the Ballad of the Mines. Let me tell you a story about a mine in Demir. and so on.
Problem got solved. Iron's gonna be cheaper here.
So catchy, right?
We will wait to see if the ore flows again. But word on the street is that things will be changing soon. This is good.
And it would not be without these two. So you have them to thank. So of course you want them on this job, bringing back artifacts for you. I told you, I didn't just get you anyone.
My dear, you seem not to realize that the high price of iron has been a benefit to me.
Oh, did I mention that they're heroes? Did I mention that I'm a hero too? Perhaps you've heard of my exploits.
Yes. You are
This is
nothing if not prideful of your accomplishments. And who is this other owl person?
I am the God Speaker, Vlastimir Whitetip. I have fought a Tanawak single-handed.
You have? And did you
I have.
recover the riches of its body?
We did.
Do you have any of the items on you? I'm in the market.
I think we sold everything, didn't we?
Oh, yeah. The only thing we kept I gave to my friend. Sorry. But next time, if you see another, we'll kill it for you.
I have this bow, see with the sinew.
Ah, I see. Well then.
Well, so you can get the job or not?
Yes. I am satisfied with the candidates you have brought here. My friends, there lies out on the plain of the fallen the ruins of an Adjat city called Fi al-Nar. You have heard of this, yes? Once a great trading city on the river in the midst of the plain.
The spelling of Fi Anar.
Fi space Alnahr.
Ooh, lovely. Wouldn't have gotten that right. Thank you.
It is a 3-day journey. 1 day to Witch's Hill, and then 2 further to the river. The ruins can't be missed if you find them. If you mark your directions well, they are expansive and visible from a distance. Since the opening of the frontier, many have begun to scour the plain in search of that which I seek.
Are we looking for
Fialnar
something
is-
particular?
Anything of Adjat origin intact, brought back to me, I will pay you for. I'm not interested in fragments, potsherds. I seek items that are whole. And I am not alone. Come. And he leads you towards the front door of his shop, and he pulls aside the curtain and steps out into, there's like a little awning over his shop, and there's a little shade there, and he steps out and he gestures across the plaza, and opposite his shop is another one. It's a little, the awning over there is black and yellow striped. His awning overhead is green. There's wares on display. There is an attendant kind of watching over the goods there. And there is on a sticking out of the wall is an iron hook with a symbol suspended on it of 3 interlocking golden circles. And you all, especially Vlastimir, whose past has involved, Vlastimir comes from a merchant background, right?
Yes. Traveling trading family.
So you recognize the 3 golden circles as the sign of the yellow circle, which is the Mason kind of merchants guild, of which one must, certain goods are only traded by permission of the merchants guild. You have to have a license for certain goods, and you have to be, pretty successful to join it. There's all kinds of trade that happens outside of that, but they have sort of a monopoly on certain goods.
Yes, one would only trade such goods with a license. That's correct.
And you know that when somebody has this mark, they're either a member of the guild or they are kind of working under the authority of the guild, right? And standing in the doorway of the shop opposite is this person. You see him there. Sirajuddin, he calls himself Radiant. I assure you he is anything but. Shadow falls all around him in every direction as if the sun was rising from 8 different positions. He seeks what I seek. You may call us rivals. He has recently hired a pair of hands for hire to journey to Fialnar. I recently received word of this. It is important you get there before them. The ruins are expansive and large, but the more time goes by, the more people will excavate items of value.
Have they already left the city? These other mercenaries?
I am not sure.
I see.
I received word that he had recently hired them. There are only 2 to your 4, but I understand they are formidable.
Well, I mean, suppose we were to, take them out of the equation for you. Surely there would be some money in that for us, right?
I heard nothing of what you just said, but the answer is yes.
You would say yes. Okay.
Do what you need to do. Yes, proof of such deeds will be rewarded. But most importantly, retrieve what artifacts you can and return them to me. With haste.
Well, this seems pretty straightforward.
Are there any legends of particular treasures that we should be on the lookout for? Anything that might help us get ahead of them?
Fionnar is the city of the three bridges. Half of the city lies on this side, half on the far side. I can say only that the far side is likely to hold more valuable objects. I would look for signs of holy places, temples. There is supposed to be a great library at Fionnar. Beyond that, I can recommend no further.
Have you ever hired anyone to do this before?
Yes.
And have they come back?
Some of them.
Well, don't worry, Boga. We're gonna come back. I mean, you're a hero, like I told him. So of course you're gonna come back.
We know
A little
not
nervous.
what dwells in the plain beyond rumors. However, I would wager your greatest enemy will be fellow fortune seekers.
Well, I'm ready to go. I think we should leave.
Are there any useful bits of equipment that he's got in his pawn section? Things that adventuring equipment that, or particularly look, Alexi's looking for armor and a shield.
Oh. Like leather armor?
He's got leather, but would be interested in scale and or chain, plus an actual shield-sized shield.
How far a trip is this place?
It's 1 day to Witch's Hill, which is a common, it's like Witch's Hill is a day away, and it's common for people to camp on Witch's Hill and then sort of go out from there to various points. So it's 1 day to Witch's Hill and then 2 days overland to the city, the ruins.
All right, so we're going to need food.
Rations.
Kevin, just roll to get lucky to see if he has something like chainmail or scale mail.
That's 2d6, no mods, right?
Your luck modifier if you have one.
Oh yeah, no mods in this case. Whoa, it's an 8.
Okay.
All right, I'm more excited than you are, but that's okay. And my colleagues, we might want to ensure that we've got the classic rope and or grappling hook and or other exploring equipment in case we need to do unexpected spelunking. Of course, yes, Laylee, I can see your expression. You can get anywhere, but there are those of us who are not quite as maneuverable, if you remember last time.
So adventuring gear, is kind of a catch-all, and that costs 12 silver if anybody wants to invest in that. He has, are you more interested in chainmail or scale mail?
Probably more
lighter.
interested in chain, because scale and chain both are armor 2, but chain weighs 2 and scale weighs 3.
That's right, yeah.
So more interested in chain than scale, but because Alexi is not buff as the boomer goes.
So yes, he has a tunic that would fit you. That's the lucky part, because you've got, with those wings, you've got, I guess, yeah. So obviously there's armor for all the different types of people.
It's probably why it's still stuck in his shop. He can't sell it to Booma. It's
There
got
you go.
it's got a vent in the back for the wings, and most people aren't so into that.
Yeah, so the going rate for chainmail right now is 120 because of the iron shortage. And he says, only 120 kate. But for you, in light of the fact that the iron shortage is about to end, 105.
Ooh, is there a bargaining roll?
Sure, yeah, negotiate.
Yeah, let's negotiate. That is charisma or wisdom.
It is charisma or intelligence. Charisma if you want to charm him, intelligence if you want to appeal to his sense of reason.
Totally going to charm him based on his egotistical. Oh my gosh, what an amazing shop you've got here. Such taste. That guy across the street, he's a piker. Maybe he's got money, but he doesn't have taste, and you can't replicate taste.
Yeah.
And so I'm using charisma, which is at a +1. And oh, it's a 6.
Yeah, so you get to mark charisma.
Oh, yay.
You start to do all that, and he, yes, I am aware that my shop is the best of its kind. 105 kate.
Well, easy come, easy go. I'm going to do it with the idea that, if it keeps me alive, that's going to be worth it. But, 105.
And are you unloading your leather too?
Oh, yeah. Does he want the leather?
He'll pay you 15 for the leather. Yeah.
Okay. So net cost of 90. I can live with that.
Yeah.
All right. And that increases my weight by 1.
All right. Any other business?
I mean, before we leave town, even though I really want to get on the road, I want to know more about these our competition, so to speak. Like, have they left town yet? Who are they? Like, can we essentially fuck them over before they leave town? Really?
Okay, so it sounds like you want to find some answers.
I do, and if I can, because it's a big city, and I want us to be able to leave soon, and I don't want it to take so long.
Yeah.
Can I like leverage my contacts among the street kids to like, spread or cast a wide net?
Yep, you sure can. So what's the word on these two, right? Okay, so I'm going to have Laylee. Okay, yeah. So you're going to find answers using your contacts. That's charisma.
If I pay, because I think there was like one street kid girl that like seems to be like the leader of a gang. If I pay her, can I like get a bonus to my roll to
Sure
convince you to do this?
Sure.
Yes.
I mean, just look at the, let's see. I think 2 silver will get you a +1 to that.
Yeah, I give her 5 because
if you give her 5, she's like your bud.
I give her 5 because I want us to be friends.
Yes, you're I don't know about actual friends, but she's got your back.
We can be friends someday. I'm just, we just have to get there.
Laylee's gonna be friends with everybody.
That's the goal.
So
I will give her 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then it's a charisma roll +1 for that, for the street kid grapevine.
Street kid grapevine, I love it. All right. That's a 6, 7 + 1 for my charisma is 8. Oh, plus another 1, 9.
Okay. Spend a point of luck or no?
Yeah, why the fuck not? Why the fuck not? Let's get some good answers.
What do you just have like a 6 luck, right?
I have a 6 luck. No, good on 5. It's all great. Thanks for reminding me.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I think that afternoon, so word goes out. It takes a little bit of time. People are doing whatever business they're attending to. And she comes back to you and says, "This is what I've learned. Rafida El Alam. She's a hunter.
Rafida. Okay.
They say she's really, really mean with a spear. She carries this spear, and that's what she hunts with. And I mean, I don't know spear hunting, but I talked to somebody at in the truth market about it, and she's gone east and west and brought back. She brought back one of those things that your Booma friend took a hit from. One of those things you ran into on the road.
Oh, a Tharwak?
Yeah, like single-handedly.
They're not so fierce. Sounds to me like she's just all talk.
She's a flashy dresser. She likes her she's got like brass studded leather armor that she's really proud of. Oh, and here's the thing. This is something I heard. Do you remember Thamira, the overseer of that caravan that you and your owl friend? Thamira was the older woman. There was the kid, and then there was the older woman. So apparently, Rafida and Thamira are.
Really?
What I mean.
Really? Fascinating.
And then the other person that Sarah Jadine hired is named Camber Curseclaw. He's an Ibn Aquan from Tanralar.
Camber.
He's from the Bones. Also really tough. They say he's cursed because he's never gotten the wealth that he deserves, and he's determined to get it.
That's it? Oh, he does kind of look tough. Okay, I admit it. Huh. Kind of like the wolf thing going on.
Just these art moments, Jason, are awesome. Like they really like bring these dudes to life. It's so awesome.
And have they left town yet?
Roll to get lucky.
Fuck you.
You're gonna have no luck left.
What's your luck modifier?
-2, friends. -2. Well, I rolled that's not a 6. I rolled a 10. -2 is I rolled a 10.
Okay.
But -2 is 8.
Still a success.
Could have been a success. Laylee's not very lucky. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, this
This is awesome. Thank you for the intel.
They have left town, but they've only got. They left this morning, like the morning when you were talking to the shopkeeper. So they don't have a big lead on you. They're 6 hours out on the road. So they, if you rolled really poorly, they could have been a whole day ahead of you. But at this point, they're like half a day out.
Well, that's not so bad. We can probably even catch up to them on the road.
What are we waiting for then? Let's go.
Oh, my kind of person. Yes. Are we good to go?
So this is afternoon, and are you going to try? So you're guessing if they left this morning that they'll be at Witch's Hill by dusk. And so you guys can push it and go past dark, basically, to get to the hill. The risk there is, well, you got 2 owls with you, and one of them can fly. So you're not going to have a problem navigating in the dark. It's actually, both moons are dark tonight, so it's actually as dark as it gets. So you can either just go until dusk and cool your heels and then try to book it tomorrow morning to catch up to them, or you can push through. You'll be going 3 hours after dark, basically into night, traveling at night.
Why wouldn't we want to catch up with them at dusk? I mean, it gives us sort of, the element of surprise if we need it.
Friends, we go on a long journey, and I feel like we should go with our best rest and recovery. I worry that these two puissant opponents might have a drop on us in unfavorable circumstances. And I worry we might get tired, fatigued, or otherwise wiped out before we make it there. And I want to hit them, if we have to hit them, with all of our best strengths with us.
But we can see in the darkness better than they can, being mere, what are they, humans?
Camber is Ibn Aquan.
Oh, well,
so
maybe not.
He's got
Oh
some,
yes. So
yeah, some good senses. You guys have the eyesight, but the Ibanaquans, they got the hearing and the smell.
well, we
you
have
def-
that too.
you
We have the edge
your-
on them in darkness.
Yeah, you definitely have it. So mechanic, right? So that's a great consideration. Like, will they be waiting for you in the dark? Or the other mechanical consideration is if you go past dark, then if anything, if you won't get a restful sleep.
It's impossible for me to perform without a good night's sleep. I will.
Olga
just
is an artist
say,
after all.
I am an artist.
Well, it sounds like maybe we shouldn't go after them then. I mean, at least not tonight, given all of this.
Very well.
And I worry that we may end up really fighting for our lives. We have to confront these guys, and I'd like to at least get a shield to help keep breath and body in one place, one piece.
Very well. Get your shield then.
Oh,
You're gonna-
actually, okay.
You're going to buy a shield? Is that what you said?
Probably I can only afford a buckler, but yeah, if such is available.
Yeah, that's no problem at all. A buckler, yeah.
And does
we'll
everybody
run-
else have what they think they need for delving, spelunking, random wilderness encounters?
I have adventure gear. I have a knife. I have my bagpipes.
Nice.
What more do we need?
All right.
Can I ask? I have a dumb idea. For
Can
like
you
a
not
weird-
just glide down if we need to spelunk?
Sorry, Laylee, go ahead.
Are there like the equivalent of like messengers in this town, like Pony Express type people that you could send out after?
Ooh.
Because I guess here's what, at least to try to pick one of them off, I'm interested in like forging a note from my dear friend Sitara, who is Thamira's boss, and I've written down the heart's Thamira here on my notes. Essentially like saying that like that Rafida needs to come back quickly because Thamira has fallen ill. And like since Sitara is her boss, like it would make sense to, like that she would reach out, etc., etc. Basically, I want to try to do a gambit to pull Rafida off, so we just have to deal with Camber.
Jason,
Yeah.
can I ask a mechanical question?
Yep.
Is what Beth is describing as player? Is that establishing lore, or is that like having a group of messengers?
Yeah,
Does that fall into the camp of establishing lore, or is that something else?
that's a great question. To establish something is like it's very flexible and kind of depending on the context. And given everything we've established about Moonhadir so far, I think that hiring a messenger to go do this thing, I think you probably would have to roll to acquire to see if somebody's willing to go out into the wilderness, right? As far as a messenger existing, it seems like it makes sense, so I wouldn't have somebody roll for that. But if they were like, there's a special guild of messengers and I want to get a job with them, then I might have you roll to establish. So it really depends on, what we know so far and whether it's pushing suspension of just, not suspension, but, like something special.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. It's very, it very depends on the moment and what we know.
Got
about things. So
I asked because some of the bard moves are very established lord specific.
yes.
Yeah.
And feel free to point out any problems you see there.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, Laylee, yes, you can hire a messenger, but like I said, you'll have to find somebody who's brave enough. And that would be an acquire roll to see if you can find them in time. Who's going to write the note? Can you write?
Oh yeah, of course.
Why,
But someone
why, of
can
course?
write better than me.
What's that?
Someone can probably write better than me. Like I assume.
Translator
based on-
Alexi actually drafts documents as part of his gig, and in fact, on his character sheet has written a writing kit, which he purchased for like 10 silver. Jason.
Alrighty then.
I love it.
Okay, so before you write the note, you want to find somebody to do the job. So that is going to be, you're going to roll 2d6 and add 1 because you're in a town. I mean, it's also recruit would be the other. Let me just check that real quick. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's a recruit roll instead because that's what you're doing. So it's the same deal. Roll 2d6 plus 1 because of the size of the town.
Okay. That's a 6, 4 is 10, 11.
Okay. Yes. In fact, you have your pick of 2 or 3 different folks, and you settle on who you think is the best candidate. And it's going to cost you. So for them, it's going to be to catch them at Witch's Hill is that they're going to have to get there. They're going to have to travel through the night. They don't want to surprise them. They're going to catch them in the morning before they set out, give them the message, and then return. So for them, it's going to be 2 full days of work. And they're going out solo into dangerous territory. So I'm going to say they asked for 8 silver.
I'll give them an extra 2 to make sure they, with instructions that they lie and say that the note is from my friend Satara instead of me.
Okay.
So I'll give them an extra 2 on top of that.
Great.
Actually, 2. Yeah, I'll give them an extra 2.
Okay.
So 10 and even 10 then.
Fantastic. Alexei finishes the note.
In my head, Lele is dictating to Alexei, who is drawing it out, and they're dishing a little bit because Alexei has a little yenta in him and is like, oh yes, absolutely. Like he's super into the, the romantic kind of, drama of all of that.
This is why we're friends.
Absolutely.
All right, and then Alexei, how is the message? What form is it in when you hand it to the messenger?
Well, it's on nice parchment paper because, I didn't spend 10 silver for nothing. Not that I'm bitter. I just want to be clear about that. Buma, we established actually write with their claws. They've got a drawing finger, a writing finger. So
talent, yeah.
Alexei's like scripting it out and is used to doing this stuff. So it's probably like we could try to make it from her, but it's probably something she would have dictated to somebody who would have written. So it will look, pretty close to, in fact, it is, something that a professional writer would have written because that's one of Lexi's side hustles.
She has people to write for her. She seems like she would.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, there's scribes are commonly employed for exactly that purpose. Not everybody can read and write. Great. So, and then is it like folded? Is it rolled up? Is it put in a little pouch? How is it transported?
Oh, good question. Desert culture. I think it is. Yeah, it's folded, and there's a particular art to folding it. It's not quite origami, but there is actually a ritual of folding it in a particular way. And the different folds kind of like there's little genres of folds. Like the merchants would fold it in one way, an official thing might be folded in another way.
Okay.
Because wax is a little expensive, maybe? I don't know.
Wax is pretty easy to come by.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it is, but there was this historical thing of folding letters actually so that you could, once they were opened, you couldn't refold them quite the same way. It was I have to look up what it's called, but yeah, it is a historical thing that they did in the 16th, 17th century where you would, slice a hole in and then do these elaborate folds and twist them in so the message was kind of locked.
Oh, that's
so cool. Awesome.
Super cool.
So that you could tell if somebody had tampered with it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So that's a thing for sure. And then, the expensive colored wax, yeah, that's expensive, but the straight up beeswax isn't. So you can just, and I'm sure that Alexei has a seal of some kind that he, or actually you don't, right. You would want, there's maybe no seal. You want neutral seal because you don't want anybody's identity. Right. Okay, great. Messenger dispatched.
Great. Hey, can we also make that a keep company? Because I think Alexei and Lele are probably having a good time doing this.
Yep. Do you guys have a bond yet?
I don't think so.
Okay, 2d6 straight up.
All right.
Yeah, it was called letter locking.
Nice.
So
Jason, I have never successfully kept company in this entire game, despite trying multiple times. And Beth, I am just sorry about this, but I rolled a magical 2.
Okay.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah. So how Lexia manages to piss off freaking everybody, I don't know, but
I mean, he does. He's very talkative, right? Well, but so is Lele. Maybe, who knows? Lele gets to describe why it doesn't go well, and what needs to happen for you to keep company again. But you do get XP. You get 1 XP.
I think that this was just comes down to is like a fundamental disagreement between Laylee and Alexi about sort of like the nature of their relationship, right? I think Laylee's got these like grand romantic ideas because she's young and, you know, she's trying to get him to insert all this flowery language and stuff. And Alexi's like, you know, he's like, no, you know, this is not how people talk. This is not how people in love talk. And like, I think that they just like clash heads.
Perfect. Yeah, love it. Absolutely love it.
That's totally great. Like Laylee's idea of what a 40-year-old woman would write to her lover is not at all what Samira would actually write.
Exactly.
We probably disagreed about putting the little hearts over the eyes.
Oh yeah. She's like, here, you should like kiss the letter too before you sign it.
All right. So by the time all that's taken care of, you guys have to spend the night in Munhadir and set out in the morning. Messenger dispatched. So you will actually encounter that messenger on the way back, right? So like they're gone out, they're going to spend the night, they're going to spend the morning in Witch's Hill, hand off the message and return. So we'll see how that goes. The next morning you're ready to set out. And general marching order for this crew. Before did we do it? Was Laylee usually the scout ahead person?
Yes, generally. Yep.
Jason, I'm sorry to be annoying.
Laylee and then the other. Yeah, sorry, Kevin.
Could it just establish whether I'm assuming if I can pay list price for a buckler?
Yeah, 15.
Sold. Thank you.
That's bronze. It's a little softer. All right. So we are setting out to Witch's Hill. Everybody's familiar with the terrain around Munhadir. And let's have Vlastimir roll to embark on a journey. So you head to Witch's Hill. It should take a day. It's in this terrain. It's safe between here and there. So you're going to roll 2d6 and add 3.
2d6 plus 3. All right. Ooh, that is a 12. I rolled a 9.
Okay. Great. And roll. I'm going to have Patrick, would you roll 2d6 to see what the weather's like?
9.
Okay, so partly cloudy, warm day, and halfway. So around midday, you sort of lately established with the messenger what route you were going to take and where you would be having your midday repast. And we'll say there's like a brook that's a popular stopping point, right? Like this far out, headed west, a lot of people stop in the same places. So there's like actually a little bit of an area on a rise overlooking a brook, which is kind of cleared out, and a lot of people have camped here. We'll call it the White Rock. There's like a big piece of quartz there that kind of marks the spot. So that's where you told the messenger, and you guys are having your midday meal, and you see. Actually, Laylee notices before anybody else this person kind of coming through the brush, kind of like sneaking up on you to see if they could, pull one over on you. But Laylee notices, and the kid, I'm going to say it's a teenager, comes out of the bushes. They were just trying to see if they could sneak up on you, but Laylee saw them do it. And we're going to see how the job went. So first,
oh man,
I need you to, you're going to see what they can do. So you're rolling for this NPC. Actually, they delivered the message, no problem. The question is, how did she react?
All that expensive paper and sealing wax gone to waste.
It was the hearts over the eyes.
Yeah, shit.
Well, it was a
You were
good
right
try.
about that. Next
But
time.
maybe
I'll-
she gets distracted, like even if it doesn't like cause her to like bail on the mission, like maybe in the back of her mind she's worried like it's weird and there's something up, and in a crucial moment she'll be like, disheartened or something.
Yeah, it's true.
I think it was a cool move.
We'll
Does
see.
anybody know which way Witch's Hill is from Munda here? Like which way we went? I'm
Oh
trying to
yeah.
a little map.
Sorry, I'll go back to the main map here,
Lovely.
right over there. So roughly west and a little south. Okay, so you're gonna roll just 2d6 straight up to see how this went.
Jesus Christ. Sorry, friends. I feel like this isn't gonna be good. Yeah. That's a 6.
Okay.
Well, it was a good idea.
I'd just like to go on record as saying, don't burn luck on this one.
I don't know. I kind of want to just to pump it up to get it up to the
On the other
7.
hand, you know what? Yeah, that would be cool.
I don't know. Rather than an abject failure, like
Yeah,
Oh,
on, a
it's a
7 to
mixed
9, just so you
success.
know, on a 7 to 9, it happens, but with lesser effect, greater cost, or unforeseen consequence.
yeah, but like per what Alexi was saying, like, even just getting her distracted could be sort of like not a bad thing. Oh, I don't want to take my luck down. You know what? I started with 4 luck at the start of this campaign.
Oh my
like
God.
it's
For a penny and for a pound. I love it. I think it's great.
Okay.
let's make that a success and I'll go down to 4. It's still a -2, so it's still, no real change. These are the dumb choices Lele makes.
So the person comes out of the bushes. They don't have the note. They look scared, and they have a black eye. And they say, the Benakwan wasn't happy. She's coming back, but she was following me. I had to run.
Oh, are you okay?
She's trying to figure out whether the note's real or not.
Oh goodness. Did she? Do you think she's on your trail? Do you think she was able to track you?
She's a hunter.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh shit.
I mean, I'm fast. I'm not, because this person is like this. We're gonna say it's like a 16-year-old boy.
Excellent. Let's ambush her.
Oh maybe. Oh, but Alexi, can you help him and heal him? It's kind of my fault that he got hurt. I'm sorry.
He kind of waves.
No.
He's like, no, I'm, it's fine, but I can't.
We may need healing for ourselves. Quick, let's set up an ambush now. Everybody get in position.
And he just like takes off back from Munhadir.
Oh, be safe.
All right.
He would give him just a little generic nutritional advice on his way. Eat a lot of protein. Get good sleep.
Can we find a good ambush spot along his trail?
Yeah, Vladimir. Let me think. What would be an ideal ambush spot for you?
Likely we'd want something that was in a bit of a valley, or and certainly with some hiding spaces for us to jump out and attack. Maybe I don't know if anybody has any ranged weapons, but that would be ideal. Or perhaps setting up a trap for people if we have people who know how to set up traps, which would not be me.
So a situation where she would like move into like a low spot where you'd have advantage.
Yes.
On her.
So, yeah.
Does anyone want to take the time to set up a trap, or are you guys going to quickly break? I mean, from the way he was talking, she's like in hot pursuit.
Yeah, I think we have to move quickly to try and set ourselves up.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm all for delaying her so she doesn't catch up with the messenger, but I'm not so sure we want to hurt her and everything. You know?
Didn't you suggest that to our employer that she should meet with Messy Accident?
No, I just said we take her out of the equation, meaning that she's not like going to get the artifacts before us, you know. But she's,
How else would we do that?
well, maybe we can just delay her and stuff. You know, I mean, she's Thamira's girlfriend, and well, Thamira was kind of nice to me. But Thamira works for Satara, and Satara's my friend, and I think Satara would be mad if her girlfriend was sad because her girlfriend's girlfriend got killed.
Lastimir, your turn to get lucky on that note.
Oh no. All right, let's see how this goes. Hey, a 7.
Okay. Yeah, so if she is pursuing him and she's a hunter, you can assume that she's going to come to this spot. She's going to like,
Yeah.
So you can get into a more advantageous position further up the hillside. There's brush and rocks up there that you can take cover in, so you can get above. The trade-off is you have to do it fast enough because she is on the verge of getting here. So you have to do it fast enough to not be noticed. And that means the person with the lowest dexterity would make a saving throw.
Guessing that
Anyone
might-
have lower than 8?
I've got a 7.
I'm right with you there, brother Boga.
All right.
Oh, both you guys? Both of you guys have a 7? Okay, then between Alexi and Boga, who's got the lower luck?
I've got an 8.
10 luck. So
Okay, so Boga's
so,
making the
I'm
roll.
afraid it's you, my friend.
It's a
I can see
dexterity
no
saving
way in
throw.
which this could possibly go wrong.
Vlastimir's like shouting, not shouting. Vlastimir's whispering
Yeah.
hoarsely to get everybody up the hill to the bushes and the rocks. Vlastimir
Right.
is definitely the most fighty of the 4 of you guys. He's
I mean, he has the personality trait of bold, and he's a paladin of the god of ambition and theft.
yeah.
I think, you know,
Perfect.
Oh, we've heard of that guy. We've
Yeah.
heard of that guy.
That's,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
We're not going to mention that out loud, but we have heard of that guy.
All
Yeah.
right.
All right. So I'm is it dexterity I'm rolling?
Yep. Make a saving throw with Dex.
Yeah, so I roll a
Yeah.
7 minus 1, 6.
Okay.
So
Do you want to burn luck?
I think I'm gonna burn luck to bring it
Okay.
up.
Alexi is kind of watching this metaphorical boulder rolling downhill, and he's not going to jump in and try to stop it, but he's got some misgivings.
So Boga, Patrick, what is Boga? Why is it that Boga is so slow to respond to Vlastimir's urging?
Well, I think he's responding at the right moment, but he's not. His clumsiness gets in the way, and he kind of he hits a bush on the way into the concealed area, and the bagpipes go off. They just give a quick squeal, and I kind of like I raise my arms like I don't know. Yeah.
And I think the other thing is that everybody else books up the hill. I mean, Laylee's there like that, right? You actually, Boga, like, starts to go that way. There's the, but then between the hill and where Boga is this area of brush that the kid came through. And you see the tip of a spear visible, over the edge of that brush. So Boga actually realizes if he goes uphill, he's going to be like headed sort of towards that and be actually in danger of revealing stuff. So instead he sort of tumbles backward over the white rock, and he's just on the other side of the white rock, which is this big chunk of quartz, right? Like about the size of a, like you can just kind of crouch down behind it and not be seen. And it's rolling over that rock that makes the bagpipe go.
Okay.
So you're squatted down on that side of the rock. Then there's this level kind of shelf area, campsite area. And then there's the slope, and the 3 others are up in the rocks and brush up there. And everybody falls silent. And peeking down, so Boga can't see anything. Boga's like, can't, if Boga shows, his ears are sticking up. So he's really got to be crouched down there. The 3 of you uphill can sort of, you're in a position where you can kind of peer through your cover to watch what happens. And without any sound at all, this figure emerges from the brush, like totally silent. And she, so she's geared up in leather armor. She's got this long spear with a black iron tip. And she moves into the open area and is scanning the ground, like looking at the prints and the marks on the ground. Yeah, you guys didn't leave any.
We did nothing to hide. Yes. Yes.
That's right. I think I'm going to say you managed to grab all your, you're in the middle of your midday meal, right? So you managed to like throw all your stuff in your packs and remove all the direct physical evidence, but there is clear sign that there was activity here. So she's pausing for a moment and kind of examining the ground there. Does anybody do anything?
Well,
go ahead.
no time like the present. I jump her.
Oh my gosh! So what are you gonna do?
I am going to leap on her from above.
With
Wings
your
spread.
wings, like a little gliding
Yes.
jump.
Yes.
Okay, and what's your goal?
My goal is to knock her unconscious.
I love that. Vlastimir's go-to move is charge.
I hope
Okay.
there's a specialty like thing. Do you shout out something like Booma above pounce? Kind of like, does the move have a name?
No, but it probably will next time.
Okay, so you step off a rock, you leap into the air, your wings go out. This is all, at the moment it's quiet. And
Silent hunters, owls are.
Yes.
Silent hunters.
right, like the wings
Yeah.
go out and then just to get you enough air above her, and then the wings are going to go back in as you make the dive. Now
Right.
your goal is to knock her out with what part of your physical self?
Oh, with my warhammer.
Okay, so you're going bam.
Yes.
Okay, so if this goes poorly, just so you know what's at stake here, this is not a fight roll.
Yeah.
It's a saving throw with, I'm going to say either dexterity or strength, because you got to hit her forcefully or you got to hit her accurately. One or the other.
Yeah,
Up to you.
it'll be strength because I
Okay.
don't have a penalty on that.
So
Unlike
using-
dexterity.
Using strength, the drawback there is you will brain her. Just so you know, you may not kill her, but you'll do damage. Okay.
Right. Or could it be that I would land in front of her?
I think because it's a strength roll, the
Okay.
problem is too much force.
Sure.
If you
All
went with
right.
dexterity, then it would be a different.
All right. Let's see how this goes. 7.
Okay.
So some success, but
Okay.
not.
Yeah. So what happens is you jump up in the air, wings go out silently. Are you wearing leather armor?
He normally has scale, but for this, I guess I would have taken it off because I'm planning to do an aerial assault. So I'd be doing it unarmored.
You would have been actually traveling without your armor on, probably, right? You wouldn't have had time to take off the armor.
Okay, yeah.
So the armor's in your, it's stowed. You got your warhammer out, you're up, and then you tuck your wings, but that moment when you open your wings, there's shadows actually cast over her, and she
Right.
turns. She's just turning to look, and you go, and you're down on her, and you actually she dodges out of the way. You sort of land, your body lands on top of her, and you go to smack her in the head, and she turns her head aside, and the hammer goes into the ground right next to her. But she's on her back. She's got her spear in her right hand, and your Booma, we've established, have talon feet.
Yeah.
Right? So your feet are one foot is on her chest and the other one's on the ground right next to her. So bam, your hammer hit the ground. She's got her spear in her hand. You haven't damaged her, but you actually have her kind of pinned beneath you.
Okay.
And we're going to let Vlastimir go next unless anybody wants to interrupt. Okay.
All right.
We couldn't have a moment to talk here, could we? This seems like it's in media res, right? We're really
You could say something, I think, or
You
shout
can
something more likely.
shout and say stop or something like that.
How about Madam, stand down and you will live?
Okay, so Vladimir has the upper hand, and then Alexei shouts out from above.
All right. Well, Vladimir will give her a moment to,
Okay.
Either respond to Alexei, but if she tries anything, he will try and whack her again.
Okay.
And
I
Alexei's
think-
going to say this so he's visible, right? So she knows it's not just Vastamir.
Yes. That's going to be, you're appealing to her sense of reason. So that's an intelligence negotiate roll. But you get +1 because Vladimir is obviously helping.
'Cause there's a giant owl paladin on your ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
What's
That may not be in the rules
Alexei's,
book, but
what's
think-
Alexei's intelligence?
it's 6. It's a 6. So
All
minus
right.
1 plus 1.
Okay.
But it's he wants to solve this without violence if it's at all
Of
possible.
course. Of course.
And he got a 7.
Total 7.
Total 7.
That's
7
good.
minus 1 plus 1 is a 7.
Okay. Hammer comes off the ground. Alexei speaks. She looks up. She says, get off of me. Like she's not moving aggressively, but clearly that's if you want her to go along, if you want her to like not fight, she's saying, get off of me.
All right. I will step off her just carefully to decide the position to strike, though, if she does anything.
Okay. Okay, great. So Vladimir steps back. She's back on her feet in an instant, and she's got her spear just sort of, at ready and pointed at you, at Vladimir, right? So you got your hammer out, and she's, the spear tip's like a foot away from you. Boga is behind her, behind the rock, and Alexei is standing visible on the hill. Laylee's still out of sight.
Yeah, Alexei's kind of walking down, not running, but clearly moving down.
Laylee's gonna see how this conversation plays out. She's got like a Hail Mary that she'll idea, but she'll see how this plays out first.
Okay. All right.
Alexei's going to try to parley if that's possible while we're in this kind of standoff kind of thing, to say, madam, we understand that you're engaged in a job. We need you to not do that job. Possibly you grew sick. Possibly there was some extenuating circumstance, but we would very, very, very much like you to stand down so that we may resolve this without any actual violence, which we would be loath to engage in, but certainly we have you at a slight disadvantage for,
Speak for yourself, but
So Thamir is okay. Thamir is not sick.
No, Thamir is fine, madam. I do apologize for the ruse, but we really did need you off here, and we're hoping not to unduly worry you, but also we wish to do this without any actual harm to your person. For we need this very badly, but we don't really wish to hurt you, or certainly not Thamir. We wish you both the best of happiness, assuming you're willing to stand down in this one.
You're working for a beer.
We are certainly working for someone.
Catch me if you can.
Oh,
Oh fuck! Now my Hail Mary is not gonna work now. Shit.
Is
is she running or does she bat? Is it magic?
She basically is running away from you. Yeah, like in 2 steps she'll be down that hillside across.
All right. Can I catch her?
How would you go about that?
Basically, yes. I gotta flap and dive. I gotta basically take a flying dive.
Okay, so
Powered flying
you're
dive.
wearing your armor, you got your hammer, so you're going to leap into the air. You got to get some altitude. Clearly, once you're up and gliding, you can outpace her. You can catch up.
Yeah.
So you leap up into the air, or maybe she's over the edge. Maybe you take a few steps towards that edge and then jump.
Yes.
Wings go out.
Yeah.
And
I
then
glide
you got to do.
and try to smash into her.
Okay, and just trying to knock her down.
Yes.
Same deal as before, strength or dexterity, your call.
All right. Force it is. Oh, yeah, I rolled a 3, so that did not go how I wanted.
You get to mark strength.
You know, be
Good.
nice to people. There's no percentage in it.
Yeah, so what happens is there's this rocky slope down, then there's this brook. It's like 4 feet across, water through little, like a couple of cascading falls. She is sort of mid splashing across that. You swoop. She looks over her shoulder, sees you coming, and dives into a tangle of scrubby trees, out of sight, and you smash into the trees.
Yeah, I figured that's how that was going to go. All right.
And you take 1d4 points of damage.
All right.
And your armor applies, so you get to subtract your armor life.
All right. So I take no damage. I rolled a 2, and my armor protects me for 2.
Okay, great. So you
I thought you
crash
weren't wearing
into this
armor.
brush. You crash into that. Everybody.
No, I didn't have time to take it off, but no doubt
sorry.
I'm pretty badly tangled up.
Yeah, you actually you just kind of impact and fall back. But
Yeah.
so you take that damage, and she's kind of disappeared into the brush. In this area, it's more thickly wooded. So there's not going to be any way to immediately pursue her. It's going to take a more longer term
Right.
approach.
Okay.
Sorry, Kevin, can't hear you. You're muted.
Sorry, Beth. I thought our candor would melt her heart, and then she would be like, I am just grateful she's okay. Thank you guys for, offering.
Oh,
not to
you
hurt
have a
me."
better girlfriend.
No. Don't worry about it. Like Laylee was gonna do a bit, but this worked out fine too.
Oh,
worry.
I should
All
have
right.
let you do the bit. My apologies.
No, Laylee didn't tell you anything about it, so it's fine. This
Yeah.
is more
So
interesting.
I get up, sort of slouch back and say, well, that worked out well. You should let me do it my way.
Sorry, friends.
Vladimir is the proverbial owl in the china shop. Always charging
Pretty
into
much, yeah.
things.
Well,
All
what
right.
are we just sitting waiting here for? We just wasted all this time, and now she's ahead of us, and we just gotta go.
Let's go.
All right.
Okay, so she's moving solo. She's fast. What's your goal for the second half of the day today? You're half a day from Witch's Hill, which is where she was. So you can assume she's going to get back there before dusk.
We don't think there's a way we can catch up to her. Is that kind of our understanding of the situation?
I think that Vladimir could. So she's a stealthy hunter, right? So she knows she's being pursued by an owl person. So given that, she's going to do everything she can to avoid notice, right? She's wise to what's going on.
Yeah.
I would give Vladimir one more shot to get airborne high and scan the whole area to see if he can spot her, and that would be a wisdom roll.
That's probably worth doing. Vladimir is absolutely confident that he can do that. I will tell the rest of you as a player, there is a very good chance Vladimir will not be able to do that, but it would never occur to him, he has a -1 wisdom, but because of his own opinion of himself, he's certain he would be able to find her. But
Can Laylee help Vladimir here? If this is a dense enough forest, can Laylee sort of try to go from tree to tree at that canopy level? Because he's above, right?
Mhm.
If she's at ground level, can Laylee be at canopy level to try to see movement or hear movement and help him out?
Yeah, or even just spot routes that she could have taken. That makes sense.
Or is that just
yeah. Nope. I'll buy it. Sure. Well, let me see for a second. Lily's.
I know. Is Laylee a tracker?
Well, Laylee's definitely a scout, and Laylee's done. What's Laylee's wisdom?
9.
9.
Still better than mine.
Okay, so then we're gonna flip it so that Laylee's rolling with Vladimir's help.
Okay.
Because Laylee's got the better wisdom, so that's gonna be just a straight up +1, I think, right? Because Laylee's got +0.
Yes, because I've just got a 0.
And this
All right,
is
so
find
Laylee climbs-
answers.
Okay, we'll see. Come on. Whoops. That is a 8 plus 1 is 9. Oh, I'm tempted to make that a 10.
Yep, I wasn't going to say it out loud, but
Oh, no. I am going to spend a point of cunning because I'm doing acrobatics.
Oh,
as I get,
dude.
Oh, yes.
There we go.
and I'm gonna spend that to bump that up to 10.
right. And cunning you get to use after the roll, right? I
Yeah,
mean, that's
yeah.
the kind of the unique coolness of cunning.
Okay, so
So-
you bumped it up to a 10. Okay, great. So there's like, you leap into the trees, you jump down to the ground, you run, you're getting up, as high as you can, looking. And Vlastimir's like circling. I think Laylee, you notice like some brush movement in the distance, pretty far distance, and you sort of gesture in that direction, and Vladimir kind of stops circling and kind of heads off in that specific. And it turns out that she had basically veered north, like took a 90-degree turn to try to throw you off the trail, like not heading right back towards Witch's Hill. So you spotted that bit of movement. Vladimir turns, and it takes you a second, Vladimir, like you're like peering down across the landscape, and she is just like moving from like really quickly from like pile of brush to rock, right? Like you're just looking down at just empty landscape, and then there's just like a quick movement, and you have to like catch your, you have to wait, did something move there? And then you stop and circle a little bit, and then you see her huddled down by making her way along the edge of a rock outcropping.
All right. I had a feeling you're going to say that you're going to tell me this is where I find out that she's an archer, but
She just got the spear. She didn't have any bow or arrows on her.
all right.
Only one spear.
I signal to everybody the direction that she's gone.
Okay. You're not going after her though.
Not quite, no. I would like. I think Vladimir would like at least back up to be around or nearby somewhere.
Okay, so is the goal here to tail her, or to what would be your eventual goal as a group?
I'll
Good
propose
question.
to slow her, to like essentially like trap her.
Let's get her.
Yeah, like not
You
kill her.
turn
but
down
trap
the hand of peace. We got to get her.
Okay, so look for a place to like corral her, cut her off.
Can I
Okay.
do I think that I don't know if Laylee's smart enough to do this. Probably not. Do I think that I can sort of by revealing myself to her, like force her to like go a certain direction that will lead her like into an ambush by the party?
You're
Like,
guessing that given your stature and what you have on you, that you don't pose a threat that would make her divert her course.
Can I do that though? I would think that might be something more Vladimir could do, just also because of his altitude, right? She can certainly see me all the time, so I might be able to hurt her a little bit better.
You can force her movement, yeah. So would the idea be Vladimir to like try to like force her back into an area where the three others could intercept? Okay.
Yeah, I got to do that with my amazing skills in that regard.
Okay, now
Such as they are.
so what you're trying to do then is you're trying to negotiate with her with strength. You're trying to intimidate her into moving where you want her to go, right?
Okay.
So that's going to be negotiate with strength roll.
Before we do that, can I just do one check?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's to see. I'm worried that we might be being led into a trap ourselves because we haven't seen Camber, and I'm wondering if I could use my Mbankwan senses to detect another Mbankwan in the neighborhood.
Yeah, great. Roll to find answers with wisdom.
I'm hoping Boga is low key playing chase music.
Oh my god! I rolled a 2.
You get the mark wisdom.
Okay.
Good. Get him out of the dice now before it's
Yeah.
like super important.
Yeah, really important. Holy smokes.
Okay.
Oh no, is naming summoning? Oh God.
Oh man. Okay. So then we're gonna have Lastimir roll, and then I'll sort of combine those results and tell you what
All right.
happens.
Ooh, I got an 11.
Awesome. Okay. So there's a point at which, your shadow crosses across the ground, and she looks up and she sees you, and she's moving, kind of starting to move away from you. You do like a kind of like
Threatening dives.
a
Yeah.
threatening dive, and then that sort of forces her in this other direction. She starts to descend the slope towards like an open meadowy area. And at this point, you're out on the more of a plainy type area, right? So there's more cover than you see here. There's a lot more trees and stuff around. So and there's like a ridge that you're kind of forcing her towards, and on the other side of that are your companions. The other three of you are in a kind of brushy, scrubby, treed area. In cover, you've been moving this direction. And you can tell from the way Vladimir is moving that like he's driving her back towards you. You don't actually see her yet because between you and her is a rise in the terrain. Boga, you're in the back of the group. So Laylee's kind of up front, and then Alexi, and then you. So I'm going to say there's like Boga's like 20 feet away from Alexi. There's brush, undergrowth. And you do that thing where you pause and you're like looking around, your whiskers are twitching, your ears are tuned in, like is that other guy, there's this other, she had a partner, what's the deal? And then you hear it behind you, and you turn, and he's 10 feet behind you, and he has his he's got a curved short blade in one hand. Let's revisit our companions here. He's really he's got like matted fur, he's grubby, his armor is old, he's just been around the block. So these two Abinakwan face each other. Laylee and Alexi don't see that happening, so it's just Boga facing Camber. And he's big. And you get a sense, your immediate sense is like, I don't know what Ibanaquan culture or clan culture is like, but if there's such a thing as an alpha, this is like the most down on his luck alpha you've ever encountered, but this is one tough, he's like a full, well, you're small for an Ibanaquan, right?
I am, yeah.
Is that right? So he's like 1.5 feet taller than you, and his upper body it's kind of hulky, right? It's like he's got like leaner legs, but he's got a big upper body, and he's got his knife out. What do you do?
Camber, my brother. Do you remember the times we spent in the old city? We were just cubs together. It's so good to see you, Camber. I can't believe. What are you doing out here?
Are you establishing that you know Camber?
I'm actually not, because I think Camber grew up in the city, and I grew up in a different city.
So you're just trying to fool him.
I'm trying to fool him.
Okay.
And I'm going to throw in, yeah, I don't think I'm ready to use this. I have this new skill that I picked up, Riddlesmith, that helps me befuddle them. I give them a little riddle.
Yeah.
It's a bard skill. I don't know how to actually blend it in yet. So,
okay.
But right now I'm just trying to fool them into thinking that as cubs we grew up together, and because I'm surprising him by knowing his name, I think is the benefit, and maybe some other information that Laylee gave us through her contacts I'm leveraging.
And so the goal is to either give him pause or create a moment of disarmament, like
hopefully disarm him a bit, rather than, the growling is scaring the bejeezers out of Boga.
Yeah. So when you negotiate with someone, and anytime any NPC acts, what I do is I look at their traits and I see how they might respond, right? And if I feel like there's a chance that this might work based on their traits, then I'll give you a shot. And I think there's a chance that you could by a moment of time if you do this. So this would be a negotiate roll with charisma, it sounds like.
Oh, I roll a 12 and I get a +1 on charisma.
Whoa. Okay, so he's
smooth tongue.
He's like, "Ugh," and you pull that on him, and his brow softens, and he turns his head sideways, and his ears kind of like turn into you, and he's like, "Do we?" He doesn't say that, but that's like the attitude. He kind of like, there's a moment of that. So you a little bit of a standoff there. Laylee and Alexi, you see Rafida just boom, she's over the top of the hill and running down towards the cover that you guys are in.
Can Laylee still be in a tree here? Or is there not tree cover?
You can be up in a tree. Yeah, they're not super tall. They'd be like 8 feet up.
No, that's fine. I just want to do some death from above here, since I have height. Camber is distracted right now, yeah?
You're not even aware of Camber.
Okay, then, oh, that's right. Rafida it will be. I want to drop down on Rafida as she's running by. And essentially my goal is to like get my rope around her neck and like hold on and try to strangle her as I'm like clinging to her body, like, you know, death from above.
I feel like this has escalated quickly.
Well, no, this is not death. This is like unconsciousness from above. That's really what
you're
I'm
trying
doing.
to like choke her out. Like you're trying to like,
yeah,
you gotta hang on and you gotta, okay, yep.
It might be easier to just like get my arms around her and like try to choke her out that way. I think that's probably actually easier to hang on. So yes, death from above.
Okay, so drawback here, hit the ground. Geez, no. So here's the drawback.
Sure.
If she sees you, if you roll a 6 or less, she will impale you with her spear.
Yeah, that's about right.
If by which I mean she'll do damage with it. She'll roll damage with her spear. If you roll a 7, 9, you'll land without taking any damage and harm, but you'll miss her.
Yeah.
And if you roll a 10 or higher, what you'll do is you'll get on her, and then it's going to be another roll, a strength roll, to actually hold tight.
Can Alexi aid by standing up and being like the obvious target?
Sure. Yep. So right at that moment, maybe you guys have worked this out ahead of time. Alexi stands up to draw her attention, and Laylee jumps. Vladimir, of course, you're up above waiting to pounce whenever you see fit. And Laylee, you can make the roll at +1. Boy, I think you're maxed out probably, right? What's your dex modifier?
4.
Oh yeah, so 4 is the most you can get. So you're maxed.
Okay.
Oh wow, you're really good at this.
Yeah, she's a really good scout. She really.
This is why I'm a hero. Come on. Okay, let's see what I can do here. Oh, I'd like to not die tonight. That's good. I'm not going to die tonight. I get a 7 plus the 4 is 11.
Okay. So she notices you and is just starting to turn, and you like land and rope around her neck.
I don't think I'll even need it.
What's that?
Do I even need the rope? I mean, if I can just hold on to her and choke her out like that, like, does the rope give me any like benefit here?
I mean, it just has a fictional. You've got a rope, and the rope is in the situation, right? Like,
actually, yeah, because that way someone else could grab it. So why not?
Okay.
Sure.
Have you prepared like a kind of cinch, like a noose type thing?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm managing.
Okay, so you actually, okay, so you've got that out, and you roll an 11. So you drop, it goes around her head. You go like that, and it just boom, boom, she's on her back, right? And you got it around her neck. I'm gonna say, so she hits the back, and she hangs on to her spear. Hand goes up to her throat. She's hanging onto her spear. You're like behind her, holding on to it, and she's struggling against it. Yeah, so you're going to make a strength roll to haul enough. It takes time too.
Yeah, I'm actually, now that she has her spear, I don't want her to actually like cut. It didn't occur to me that she could cut this rope. Can I instead like use that momentum and like I want to like jump and cling to her back, and I'm going to try to do it with my hands, I think.
Instead of the rope.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean you use the rope to get her down, and now you're going to jump on her?
Yeah, I think that's it, because I think pulling the rope back, I think she could too easily cut it. So now, like seeing that she still has her spear, changing midstream.
She's on her back.
Okay.
So you can't really jump on her back.
On her front, I guess.
So like jump on her and like put your elbow against her.
Yeah, I think that's it, right? Yeah.
And try to fend off the spear if she tries to do something with that.
I think that's the goal, or hope that someone else will do that for me.
Yeah, Alexi's charging.
Alexi's charging into the fray.
Charging, absolutely. Got his actual iron mace, buckler. We're ready to.
From your perspective, you can see that happening, and you also, 10, 15 yards, 20 yards into the trees, you actually see Camber facing Boga as well. So you've got that bird's eye view there. What do you do?
All right, so I'm looking at this, and so I see basically there's two of them on Rafida, right?
Yeah.
All right. Vladimir figures that the bard is probably needing help more than the other two. After all, Laylee, he's been with Laylee. He's worked with Laylee before. She's very capable and able to take care of herself. So I'm gonna try and do my big swoop down on Camber, because it's got to work eventually, right?
Boga, you're aware, you cast a little glance up when Camber's distracted, and you see Vladimir above getting ready to dive. Do you do anything?
I just say I'm continuing the conversation with Camber about like how he's must have fallen on hard times.
Okay.
He was always so like had the potential to be so big, and I'm like, look at your boots. I mean, your boots, Camber. Hoping that he will look down while the owl.
Right. Well, you say that, and then right at that moment, there's like and there's the sound of Rafida going down, and at that moment, he like looks up, and that's when Vladimir strikes, and Kevin, you get an extra +1 for Boga's help there.
Okay.
For distracting him, and it's a strength roll as before.
All right. Well, it's a good thing I got that +1, because that gives me a 7.
Okay. So, and was this sort of smash with the body, like full body, like sort of knockback, or were you trying to again strike him in the head?
I think I'm trying to whack him with the hammer on this one, because I think we're past the point of flight negotiation.
All right, I'm going to let you roll damage twice and take the lower roll. That's the trade-off.
All right. 1 point.
1 point.
I tap him lightly on the side of the shoulder.
I think 1 point is not.
Oh, I see it as like a no-sell kind of move. Like you whack him and he's just like.
Yeah, exactly. That's you come down, you actually like clock him. He sort of spins and tumbles over a log and is in a crouch and kind of like shaking his head. So the one of the things was his head just turned with the blow right at that moment. But you did kind of like disorient him for a second. So now he's crouched on the other side of this log from you. You're on the ground. Boga's there. He's got a short sword out. Alexi's charging in with his mace, and Laylee is trying to choke her. Laylee, make a saving throw with strength.
Yeah. Can I because I need all the bonuses I can get here. Can I try to distract her while I'm doing this? Because like I'm in, like I have my arms around her neck. I'm trying, like I'm in close. I want to like see if I can throw her off guard just for a second. And I want to whisper to her, hey, did you know that Sitara is sleeping with Thamira?
Oh, what?
Our party. We're gonna mess you up.
Oh.
Okay, that's an awesome bit of color. I don't think it gets you a bonus.
But
But like, but her eyes like grow right. Like you're got that. You're getting ready to block her spear arm.
I had to try something.
Yeah, no, and her
I
eyes.
can only
like,
imagine what's going through her head at this moment, though.
her eyes like go wide, and make that strength roll.
Not gonna be good. I have a -1. All right. Oh, it was a 7. -1 is 6.
You get to mark strength.
I do.
She so your elbow in the throat, you say that, her eyes go wide, has the opposite effect. It like makes her furious. And she like knocks you back, spins her spear around, and like the spear point is right to your throat. And Alexi, you're charging up behind. And you see that.
Yeah, Zemdrak's taking a role here. Alexi is going to attempt to invoke the wrath of Zemdrak because Rafida El Alam has turned aside the hand of kindness, the hand of mercy, and has this lack of politeness is deeply offensive to Zemdrak, and at least that's what I'd like Zemdrak to believe. So I'm going to attempt to invoke, and I would like to strike her down with an illness that weakens and disables her, like gastrointestinal or something like that, some kind of force that's just going to knock her out, like, just disable her.
What are Zemdrak's domains again?
Let's see, Zemdrak, earth and music, and the Western lands and people must be healed rather than exploited. And guess what she's trying to do with that Merchant of Darkness? Exploit the crap out of it. And
unlike you guys.
Yes, unlike us. Jeez.
We're the good guys.
That's right.
And how does it fall within what you're doing? How does it fall within earth or music?
It would be the turning of the earth with, actually.
Yeah, feel free to adjust your feet here, but it's got to be music or earth related.
Yeah, Zemdrak. Alexi's singing it. He is, singing a little a musical couplet to, drive this. He's been kind of turning over, and he's not as good as Boga, like not even close, but is, sort of a cantor almost for Zemdrak's worship, and is singing. He's been mulling this over. He's been fuming the whole time they were tracking her down. Like he went and took his wing out, to try to offer her a nonviolent way to solve this when they were clearly outmatched, and he's bitter about it. So he's singing this condemnation and turning her bones to jelly. Not literally, right? But
trying to get her to
striking her with a divine weakness that he hopes will just take her out.
Okay, well,
not
just like
death. But I'm imagining sickness, and I was looking on the invoking feats, and I was thinking hubris of 2. But I could certainly see that it would be like hubris.
Yep. Nope. 2 is exactly right. That's perfect. And the music is making her sort of grow weak and collapse, essentially.
Yes.
As she's holding the spear to. Okay, on a 6 or less, the judge makes a move.
Yep.
And that spear tip is right on Layli's throat.
I believe in you, friend.
Oh yeah, and the max bonus I can get on a roll is 4, right?
Correct.
And I'm mad. Like Alexi is his donut has been frosted. Like he's really unhappy with this. because the wing of peace was offered
Yeah,
and was
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
spurned.
So
You know?
he's-
And he even
okay.
was honest
Yeah.
about like what was going on, and that candor was not repaid. So he's really furious. So we're burning all four
You have
of our
4 favor.
favorite points.
You're burning 4 favor. Do you have your holy symbol on you? Right?
Yep.
And what is that again? Remind us what the holy symbol is.
Oh, it's a holy branch that has been done as like an alpha, but rotated upside down. So the little points, the 2 stems of the alpha are there. That's probably a Greek letter of some sort, but I don't know what that.
So he's clutching it and he's starting to sing it. And is he stopping or continue to walk towards?
Yeah, he's when he sees her spear is at Layli's throat, he has slowed his roll, so to speak. He's not trying to crash into her anymore, but is actually sort of drawing that divine fervor and trying to strike her down in such a way that it isn't going to hurt Layli.
And starting quiet and rising, or like
oh no,
like building or sudden like
starting like he's about to sing in a musical. So like. Rafida, El Alam, because he knows her name, really loud, and then boom, hopefully, the just comes in.
Okay, so just so we're clear, 2 hubris plus 4 favor plus 1 for holy symbol is a total plus 3.
Yep, I think so.
Is that the correct calculation? Okay, great. Don't roll yet. Hold that thought. Cutting back to Boga and Vlastimir. You're both on your feet, facing this mean-looking Ibn Akhwan on the other side of a fallen log. What do you do? Boga, what do you do?
Well, I'm positioning myself to get behind Vestimir.
Okay.
Not want to get involved with this guy.
Okay, great. So you're sort of skirting the edge there. Vlastimir, you got your hammer out in one hand. You're not wearing your armor.
So Vlastimir is watching him to see how he's going to move, and then I'm going to try and strike, taking advantage of hitting him in a weak spot.
Okay, well he's definitely coming for you. So it's going to be a straight up fight roll. There's a drawn out pause. Boga moves behind, and then he just leaps over that log. And as he leaps through the air, he spins his curved blade around, so he's holding it more like this. It's like a downward plunge. You got your hammer out, and you're looking to clock him as you get your opportunity. This is a fight roll, which is strength.
All right. Let's see how well this works out for me. Yeah. So I rolled a 4.
Oh, fuck.
No.
I mark strength, huh?
Yep, you do. Okay. And you are going to take 1d6 plus 1 points of damage.
All righty. Well, here we go. Wish me luck.
Come on.
4 points. Ouch.
Okay.
I'm still up, but I'm feeling this.
Yeah, so he bounds across the thing. You haul back to whack him. He's coming through the air, making a lunge. You're hauled back. At the last moment, he sort of tucks, and you swing over his head, and he flips the knife around and comes up and slashes you up across your breast, and like feathers and blood go flying, and you stumble back. And then Alexei makes his invocation roll. +3 for this.
All right. Now, in the 11th century, it turns out Andrew Lloyd Webber does exist, at least in spiritual form. So if you guys remember Evita, and I'm not going to try to sing it so well, but let's see. Don't fight with me here, Rafida. The truth is your strength has left you. No more fighting, no more hunting. Your strength has left you. Now learn your lesson.
In some ancient tongue, right?
Yeah, of course, right. In some
yeah, awesome. 2d6 plus 3.
All right, here we go. Survey says, well, that's a 7 because I rolled a 4.
Okay.
It's not a failure.
No, no.
No.
Okay, so
Hmm.
on a 7 to 9, your request is granted with duration 1, but your deity demands proof
Yeah.
of devotion.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say that you suffer. So take 1d4 points of ability damage.
All right. But I get to pick the ability.
That's correct.
All right.
And you can spread it out.
Oh, okay. Let's get 1d4.
So Laylee, you're there. There's that you can feel it pushing into your larynx there. It's so sharp that it's actually pierced your skin a little bit, and and then she kind of like shakes her head. There's this weird singing is happening. And she like shakes her head, and then the spear like turns sideways and slides across your neck, leaving like not a deep cut, but it like cuts your neck like that. And she like slumps to one side, falls off of you, and you're looking up at Alexei saying that last line.
And I think Alexei's, made this a little personal and maybe not entirely in the interest of Zemdrak, but sort of personalized this a little bit. So he's going to lose 2 points of wisdom.
Okay. Great.
Thank you.
Cut back to the Bard and the Paladin. Vladimir, you are facing him in close quarters.
All right. Well, I'm sure nothing can possibly go wrong here, right? I assume he's still coming at me, right? I would guess, right?
Yes. I mean, he just drew blood, and he's so far, you knocked him around a little bit. So he's and just given his overall demeanor, you can tell that he's dedicated to your end at this point.
All right, so I'm gonna take the Warhammer and try to go low and knock his legs out from under him.
Okay.
And hurt him along the way. I'm trying to fight, right? Not.
Yeah. I'm gonna say if you're trying to like take his legs out, I think you won't do any damage if you make the roll. But what'll happen is like he'll be on the ground, and then you'll immediately be able to make
Well, yeah, I'll try to knock him down so he can't, stab me again quite so easily.
Yeah,
then
you'll have another moment. Yeah, you'll sort of have the advantage in a moment to think that. Great. So
Right.
This is
Okay.
a fight roll, but your effect is going to be to knock him down instead of deal damage.
Well, I got an 8.
Okay. You deal your damage or effect, but suffer the enemy's attack in return. So you do that. You knock him. He like his legs go out. He's top heavy, so his legs go from him. He slams the ground, and then immediately he like rolls over and slashes at your legs.
All right.
So take another 1d6 points, 26 plus 1 points of damage. Shit.
Well, Vladimir's taking a little dirt nap right now.
Oh no.
Yep, I'm at -1 hit point.
Okay. Kevin, you have the honor of being our first PC to go down. That doesn't necessarily mean that Vladimir is dead, but
Yes, I know there's time after the fight for them to save me, but yes,
Yep.
Vladimir is out of the fight.
Vladimir is out of the fight. So I think what happens is like he slashes at your feet. You get knocked over and you crack your head on a rock, and he does some damage. It's not resolved yet because we have to roll that after they check to see if you're okay.
So now we get to play test bite the dust move, huh?
Yeah, that's seen a fair amount of use in my own.
Oh, and Patrick had a cool variant on that, right? Do I remember that right, Patrick?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
For the funnel. Yeah, for the funnel jam.
Oh yeah. Right.
Yeah, that's the last words thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Vladimir is incapacitated, And Boga,
Yeah.
you see your companion go down, and then Camber, like, that happens. There's a moment's pause, and then Camber like puts one paw on the ground and rises into a crouch facing you with his bloody short sword out. What do you do?
Oh
I
no,
am-
it's a plus luck roll.
I'm going to try and run as fast as I can
Which direction? Towards your friends?
towards my friends for sure.
Okay.
Hoping that they have something to bargain with by this point,
Okay, gosh.
or fight.
Yeah, so
Either way,
he
it's
is coming after you. You're both Ibanaquan. You're smaller.
He has a little time to get running because I knocked him down to the ground at least.
Yeah, that's true. So Boga, yeah, so there's crashing through the brush, Alexi, and Laylee's back on her feet. There's a trickle of blood coming from her neck.
I noticed.
Rafita-
Take any time to desecrate my corpse?
He's not good. Well, it's a good thing he has an immediate target. Let's just say that. Boga comes crashing through the brush. How does Boga appear?
Boga is crashing through the brush, is frazzled, and is Camber behind me. Just took out the paladin. Gotta help him. He's trying to catch his breath.
Okay, Laylee and Alexi.
Is a quick clarification question. Do I have a sense, does Alexi sense that Rafita, she's down for at least the immediate future? Is that fair?
Duration 1.
Yeah.
So that means that as a move, when it makes sense, or as a judge move, I can mark off that duration. So when it makes sense means that, I'm going to say, given what a couple of minutes, which is a lot of time when you're in this kind of situation. So unless I get to make a move that allows me to make her wake up or make her recover, then she's for the time being, she's out of it.
She's out of it. So I guess the question is, Laylee.
Yeah, no, so then we don't need to tie her up. Is that what I'm hearing? Because it sounded.
I mean, if you wanted to be totally safe, you could tie her up. There is a chance that she could recover.
You go be a hero. I'll tie her up and join you.
All right. So Alexi's stepping in to help our man Boga, and hopefully we'll try to flank. Alexi's got a shield and a hammer and is like stand down or she gets it.
Oh, so he's coming through the brush. There's like, as soon as he's within earshot, or you see him, and it's clear that Rafita's on the ground. And is Laylee in a threatening position?
At the moment he says that, I will like pull out a dagger and put it at her throat.
Okay.
Strike a pose.
See, the problem is, you guys.
I keep doing the same negotiating thing. It never works. I need to learn.
One of Camber's traits is vengeful. No. You do get a chance to negotiate. The reason he doesn't just stop, because if he was a person who was concerned for his companion, that would be probably enough threat to just stop him without negotiating, right? But unfortunately, he's vengeful, so you do have to roll for that. Right. And I would say it's actually strength, intelligence, or charisma. Totally up to you.
We're doing charisma. It'll be panache, I hope. So that's at a +1. And any benefit from his companion, who's a pretty kick-ass fighter, like totally disabled. Like,
I think the benefit is Laylee is there with the knife, and that gives you an advantage. Laylee's helping, so that's a +1 there.
So so I get +1 for charisma, +1 for Laylee's help. So +2 to this roll.
Yep.
All right. I'm burning luck. So it's a 4 +2 is a 6, and so I'm going to burn a point of luck to make it a mixed success. Will that help us, Jason? Or
I'm thinking,
okay,
they'll do it, but only if you concede something meaningful in return. So you catch him up, and you say that. He looks over, sees Laylee, and there's like froth coming out of his. He's like in full, murder mode.
Yeah.
Let her go.
We need you off this job, and she goes, and we're done.
Oh, that's a further negotiation.
Yeah.
The negotiation you started with was like, let's stop fighting. But now you're negotiating further. Is that what you want to do? Because now you're saying you're off the job.
Oh, wait. Did I make another request? I was just stand down?
Oh, I thought so. Did you actually say?
Yeah, no. Maybe that
Well,
was.
no. We can just. I'm just trying to think of how you would have phrased that to get him to do that.
Lexi's more charming than I am.
I think that's like too big picture for his adrenaline, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you've basically got him to listen to you, and you basically said stop or she dies. So what you've done is you stopped him.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
So he's like seething. And you're standing facing him, perhaps calmly. Boga's behind you. Laylee is on the
and now
ground.
we've gotten her. So now we're in a standoff.
I say to Alexei, Vesemir, he's in bad shape. I think he needs your help. I can take care of this.
Really, man? You got this?
I'm leaning into my I'm feeling responsible trait.
Because I think this ends in violence. I'm sorry to say it.
I don't think you're going to do much better than I am when it comes to violence at the end of the day. I know you got your new buckler. Our paladin's laying in the dirt.
It's got the new buckler smell.
I think so. That's of course abbreviated to Boga saying, "You better go help." But Alexei, you realize that it's you with your shield and your hammer facing this guy right now. If you somehow leave, that'll just like unleash him.
Yeah.
So it's actually key. So Boga says that, but you realize that like if I actually step away, I'm like, I'm blinking essentially.
Yeah.
So you've got him at a standstill.
So out of the corner of my beak, I'm going to be like, Boga, you got to flank this guy. We got to take him out. If he doesn't stand down, we got to fight this.
I'm with you. I do the wink.
Okay,
Nice.
So you're at an impasse. Is Boga sort of drifting away?
Boga's kind of drifting away, but is positioning himself to support Alexei if something happens.
Okay.
And does this give does this give Laylee enough time to disable and or tie up
I was
Rafida?
If they're having this conversation, can I use my rope to tie her up?
So you're gonna have to hold the knife to her throat because that's what's got him, right? That's why he's paused. If you take the knife away, I mean Boga can help you. And you could keep the knife to her throat.
Actually, yeah, I'm gonna kind of motion to Boga to give me a hand tying her up.
Okay.
And then also I'll have the knife to her throat. I'm gonna take her because I don't know if she's gonna wake up and try to run or something.
Yeah.
And like knock her spear away.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna take her boots off with my other hand. She's not running away on my watch.
And I think Boga's in a really good position to take care of unconscious people. He's a very good guard of unconscious people. If Laylee wants to take care of something else.
Well,
So there's the tying up, and then there's going to be Boga's got his knife out. Is that what you're saying? So
He's got his knife out now. Never used, but looks pretty.
Well, Boga's like maintaining this threat. I'm taking her boots off and I'm casting them to the side just in case she runs because I don't want her to run.
Okay.
I know.
So Camber is like seething, and you can tell that like so he sees this going on. He sees her boots come off, and he's just like. And is Alexi like shield up and mace up, or is Alexi sort of in a calm
No,
stance?
Alexi's got shield up and mace up. He's trying to, and fluff up the feathers a little bit, a little puffier
Yeah,
than
yeah, yeah.
usual.
Yeah, yeah.
It's none of it's muscle. I mean, it's all flab. I'm sorry to say. But is puffing up. But also he's trying to talk to Camber and try to talk him down that, he's very powerful. He's a tough guy. This is not a good solution here. It's just going to get him killed. It's going to get, and doesn't he need a little good luck, to change his luck? Because he's always solved problems this way. And this is a different way of solving it, because we don't want his blood. We just want everybody to walk away and be okay. Change it up. Do something different in your life, man. Break that curse.
Okay.
You want to.
Okay, so this is another negotiation, but the stakes are higher.
Gotcha.
So that means if you get a 10 or higher, he'll walk away. If you get a 7 to 9, you'll need to concede something in return, and that the concession is you give him Rafida. No, the concession is you guys leave. Right?
Oh,
So
The
you
concession
leave
is what?
Rafida and you go away. And on a 6 or less, I think you'll know what happens.
All right.
Now you no longer get the help because that initial negotiation, which was the standoff, you don't get that +1 from having her life be at stake, because this is a different. You're asking him to go away at this point.
Yeah.
So that gives you +1 for your charisma mod, right?
Yeah, I got +1 for charisma.
This is like, wow, how did this turn into like a super tense hostage negotiation? I thought you guys were just
I mean,
going to
it's
dig
better
for
than
artifacts.
Matt Ibn Aquin ripping our throats out. I mean, I feel like at least we have a chance. Like I get a +1 to charisma.
Yeah, go for
No,
it.
no, yeah, it's not a bad decision here, but this certainly went somewhere different than I think we were planning.
It's all Laylee's gambit of sending a letter.
it really wasn't.
All right.
I love it. Okay.
Any other pluses I can get? Is anybody playing nice music?
I can't play my
Boga's
music. I
occupied.
can't play my music. Got my
Boga's
knife
got
in my
Knife
hand.
in the throat.
Oh boy, isn't that the curse of art, right? You can't do violence and music at the same time. All right, here we go. A +1 to this. Big money, big prizes. Oh, God damn it. Well, it's violence. I rolled a 4.
Oh,
It's a 5. It's
So
a
you get to
+1.
mark charisma,
Yay.
and you're fighting,
Yep.
and that is a strength roll. He comes right at you.
Don't die.
Let's see. Oh, good. That's a 5.
Mark's strength, and he deals his damage to you. So that's 1d6 +1. You got your new armor on.
I got 3 armor. Oh, nice. I take 2 points of damage. I rolled a 4 + 1 is 5 - 3 is 2.
How experienced is Alexi with fighting?
He's actually a lot more experienced than his current role.
Okay.
Like it's not something he's, yeah, he knows it a little bit.
Okay, so there's a serious he just like leaps at you, swings his blade. You actually like block it. You block it with the buckler. You swing at him. He ducks under it. He counters. There's like a ping.
Yeah.
There's like an exchange of blows. All of the swings you make at him, he dodges, and he forces you back sort of to the right of, as we're facing Rafida and Boga, to the right of them. And so now you're fully engaged, and he's just, so you guys are in it right now.
And I will say, Alexi moves like frankly smoother than any of you would actually expect. Like why is he like, he knows this more than his whole demeanor kind of shows.
Great. So then there's a couple of expert deflections, right?
Yeah,
There's like,
yeah.
"King."
Much more skillful than he has
Right.
any right to be.
Okay. Laylee, what do you do?
The minute Lily sees this, I think there's like a beat where she's just like, oh shit. And then she sees Alexei getting his ass kicked. And she's on her feet, and I'm gonna use while he's distracted. She's gonna kind of cut around behind him, behind Camber, and I'm going to backstab him while he's not paying attention to me and paying attention to Alexei.
Okay, so to get into position.
I mean, I'm hoping the backstab goes off. I'd like to actually do something like dramatic, like tumble between his legs, because I have an idea for something to do if the backstab succeeds. But if that's impossible,
I think that him moving and you're 15 and small. Like from the front, you want to dive between his legs.
Yeah, and I'll go between Alexei's legs too if I have to, like just
Like
to get
croquet?
exactly. Yeah, like croquet.
Like a tumble to come up behind him. Is that the goal?
Yeah.
Okay, so
exactly.
not a sneaky, stealthy sneak around, but like just a dive through.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay, yeah, acrobatic. Yep. So that's gonna make a saving throw with Dex to do that, and then once you're in position, you'll be able to backstab.
Okay.
Kevin, we're gonna get you back, buddy. We're gonna get you back, man.
There. So that is a 7 plus. Do I get out my Dex to it? I assume.
Yep.
Oh yes, because it's a saving throw. So 11.
And you're an acrobat, so cunning.
I don't need
You
it.
know,
You don't need it. You got 11.
I figure Vladimir's been on living on borrowed time since he single-handedly fought the Pharaoh Walk, to be honest with you. And it kicked his butt, but you didn't mention that part when we signed up.
Kevin, I appreciate your your full engagement with your character. It's awesome. Okay, so you did it. You're back there. You pop up. When you use a hand weapon to attack a surprised or defensive surprise, because you dove between his legs, deal your damage and roll Dex. So first deal your damage, and that's a knife or a dagger?
Dagger, so it's a D4, I believe.
That's correct.
I roll a whopping 2 because I'm awesome.
You rolled sorry?
I roll a 2.
Okay, and daggers have 1 piercing, so it ignores 1 point of his armor he's just wearing leather, so it actually ignores his armor. So okay. You do 2 points, and then roll your backstab, which is a Dex roll.
What is that? 8 plus 4 is 12.
Plus 4?
So, my Dex is plus 4.
Spinal cord injury.
Wait, plus 3 is the most you can. Okay.
11 plus 3. I don't know why.
Okay,
sorry.
You get to choose 2 from the list below. Deal your damage again. Slip immediately out of your target's reach. Create an advantage, which you describe, and the next person to exploit it takes +1 forward.
Awesome, that's what I was hoping. So I will choose deal your damage again and create an advantage. The advantage is, as I slide between his legs, I actually want the backstab not to be like in his back. I want, because I keep looking at his fucking nose ring. I'm sorry, all this time. And I want as I slide between his legs, I jam the dagger into that nose ring, and I like pull it as I slide to pull it out, like hard, just tearing his nose as I slide.
So that's your first thing is into the nose and then through his legs?
Yes. So essentially I'm taking that with my goal here is to just like get him in like such pain, like that he's kind of like
okay.
Like, grabbing his snout, creating an opening for to take a blow.
I think because it's backstab, allow me to edit that to say you go between his legs first, he turns around, he turns his head in surprise, and that's when the knife goes into his, right? Because that's what the surprise was like, that you got behind him all of a sudden. And then there's and then
oh, you're opening him like an Ibn Aquin soda can.
That is what I'm for. And then I'll do my again as well. So it's another D4, and this time I get a 3.
Okay. Alexei or Boga.
So someone gets a +1 forward.
Now that I've seen this, I'm feeling like we need all hands on deck with Camber, and I'm struggling, but I see the amazing move that Lily's pulled off, and I'm like, okay, I'm going for it. And I've got my dagger and I'm just leaping into attack. He's now distracted, I'm assuming, with the pain of having his nose ripped apart.
Yep.
And I'm taking advantage of that to get in there with the dagger.
Okay.
And Alexi will follow with the mighty Iron Mace.
Someone takes that +1.
Yeah, so the way it works when multiple people attack one foe, I actually have to look up. I used to remember.
That was an amazing move, by the way. Just perfect.
I was just staring at that nose ring for the past like 20 minutes, thinking like,
Well, it's great. It uses the art as, you know, it's all in the fiction. It's awesome. Oh, yeah. Ouch. And just let the record show, we gave these guys every single possible chance to stand down and avoid violence. Like, my gosh.
Let the record show.
the bad guys, are we?
Right. We are
Are
not.
we the bad guys? Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
I
we're
just,
not bad guys. We just make bad decisions, or at least Vladimir does.
Well, now it's personal because I killed you, right? That's the way I'm figuring it. Yeah, well, really quick.
okay, so you guys can either roll independently or one of you can roll. So there's a +1 forward, and then if you roll jointly, the roll will be with an extra +1 for the help, right? You're jointly attacking. And then in the first case, if you each succeed, you roll your damage individually. In the second case, the person with the higher damage rolls. Actually, you both roll, you take the higher result and add 1 for the extra person helping. So in the second case, you might do less damage, but you'll have a greater advantage in a single roll.
I think we need to go for damage.
So individuals.
2 hits.
I think so.
All right. The 2-hit hypothesis. I love it.
Okay, so I think Boga gets the +1 because Boga acted first. And this is, man. I'm going to say you both get the +1 because he's just got his nose ring ripped out.
Yeah.
And this
All right.
is essentially a simultaneous attack. So, but it is a fight because he's in full fight mode.
Good luck, friends.
So Boga, that's a strength roll.
Right.
You get
All
+1
right, here we go.
forward.
I feel really good about buying armor.
Oh,
What you got?
11.
11.
Alright.
And the +1 counteracts my -1, so I've got 11.
Fantastic. Deal your damage or intended effect. And you got a knife?
I have a dagger. I'm using my dagger.
You got a dagger. Okay, so 1d4, and it's gonna punch through his armor.
Sorry, this is my first fight. Gotta bring the right dice to the fight.
You brought your dice to a knife fight?
Yeah. All right. And it's a 3.
Okay. And then we'll have Boga roll also.
I mean, Alexi.
I mean,
Alexi.
sorry, Alexi, yes.
Yeah, Alexi rolls an 8. Actually a 9. Oh, we are burning luck. Am I right? We're burning luck. Yeah.
Totally.
So we're burning luck to make that an unmitigated success. Alexi's using a mace, which I would mention is close, which is the range. Forceful and
Yep.
stun are its adjectives.
Yep.
Just mentioning that for everybody.
1d6 damage.
1d6 damage. Oh, a 5.
Okay.
Beast.
Okay, so Laley pops up. He looks back. He's turned away, and Boga comes down with the knife into his back, and he drops down to one knee, and that's when Alexi goes and smashes his head into the ground, and he collapses in the grass. And he his head kind of flops around up, and his tongue lolls out of his mouth. Heavy breathing, sweat, moments pause.
Alexei runs and calls out to Zemdrak as he goes, look upon, please forgive this violence and help me save this life, and is charging towards our fallen companion to try to do the 11th century version of CPR.
Okay.
All right.
This is Vlasimir's time to, what's your luck modifier?
Oh, -1.
So it's a straight up luck roll. There's no way to modify this.
All right.
It's 2d6 minus 1.
Well, let's see how this goes. And we get a 6.
No.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Kevin.
Oh
Oh,
man.
you know, I always knew this is how Vladimir would go.
Very, oh my God. Okay, so Alexei breaks through the brush, runs over, gets there, and before you even, like, you lay eyes on the body and there's like nothing. Actually,
Oh.
I mean, if Vladimir wants a last word, Vladimir can have a last word.
No, I think in this case it feels like dramatically he's gone, you know.
Okay, so like no, okay.
Oh wait, no, where's that table? I should roll on it. If somebody's got it.
The last
The last words table, yeah.
Patrick, do you have that handy? Sorry,
Oh,
we
you're
can't-
muted, man.
You're muted.
I do have it. How do I share this easily with you?
Oh,
I don't think I have it on.
I can roll and you can tell me what I get. Just tell me what to roll.
Okay, hang on. Let me bring it up. I'm so flattered. Oh my gosh. Um, all right. When a level 0 character has only seconds to live, choose a surviving character. Okay. So Alexei runs up and on a 10 plus, okay, just roll and I'll tell you what
What am I rolling?
Just-
you're rolling the 2 dice, 10 plus. Oh, you're rolling luck. You're rolling luck.
Okay. It's just always my best stat. All right. I get a 5.
Okay.
my luck
On
modifier.
a 6 or less, you fail to pass your message along and will haunt the world with an incomplete business, turning in the future as an undead NPC at the judge's discretion.
Oh,
Revenant Paladin of
Oh,
the
yes.
god, the
So
Buma
sad.
god of avarice and theft and what was it? Theft and something else. Ambition.
Theft and ambition. Yes.
Ambition. Oh, Kevin, you're such a good sport. You have the honor of having the first PC to perish in the Western Wilds, and
Yep.
Vladimir will be memorialized.
I'm already crafting a tune for you.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm-
Well, I guess I'll be rolling up a new character for my next mission, but let's see how this one turns out. I'm gonna stick around. I want to see how this goes.
Okay, and
And
we're gonna
usually death from above means somebody else's death, right?
Yeah.
I die from above.
That mark another not on the thread that we already have against that has got that
Yeah.
he's now killed his paladin.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
you're right.
No. We're
Oh
we're
my
cruising for a
God.
bruising here. We're
We're
tracking
not
some
deleting-
negative. Yeah.
And then
That's
he's
why
leave
he's coming
town.
back. That's
Wow,
why he's
you
coming
guys are
back
really
on
making
Because
dead.
we
Enemies.
really messed with his priest's business. Like we really messed his stuff up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin, they went on this mission. I don't know if you saw it, but they stole something very valuable from the high priest of Arthur in the region.
Oh. Oh dear.
So this is all, yeah, there's some big
Yeah.
big things in the works here. Okay, so you've
Oh,
got
man.
Rafita at your mercy. Camber is out. So I think we're gonna basically wrap up this mission since it's this is the extent of it.
We put the big fight first.
Yeah, and I think it at this point you'll be returning to the town. You have incapacitated both of them, and what's his name did promise you reward for that, right?
Yeah, though,
Camber's-
are we gonna go full murder or are we I hope
Well, no, Rafita. Oh, good question. Well, I mean, I think she could be sufficiently said to be out of the running, right? And that was your goal.
Yeah, I mean, that was the
you don't have
intent,
to
was
kill
to
her.
sicken her, you know,
Yeah.
to really disable her with some sort of horrible illness.
Yeah. So anyway, just that's sort of big picture. I think it's going to be like you're going to end up going back to town, given, you know, I mean, your friend died.
Yeah.
You can't push on and search the ruins when that's going on. So that will be the kind of scope of this mission was this engagement, which
We stopped the Shadow Merchants guys from going out.
You
and
sure
we
did.
ended his threat to the immediate threat of the most competent rivals. So maybe we can do a follow-up mission, maybe get other people involved. But yeah, we'll frame it to perhaps to our employer that we bought some time, we took out the threat. These guys are never working for this guy, not for weeks.
Yeah. On the other hand, now Laylee has to worry about stuff getting back to her former friend.
Yeah.
Hopefully that doesn't happen.
oh my
It's cute.
God, that's right.
Oh no, but I mean,
I mean,
I can't see anything bad coming out of this.
this is like
Sure.
Laylee's in one of those streaming series where like the stakes escalate every single episode, right? Like, and you're like, how can you sustain this through another season? It's just like things just keep.
shit.
All right. Anything happen here on site before you return to town?
Is Camber dead for one, or is he's just unconscious too?
Oh, you know what? I'd say he's unconscious because you knocked him to exactly 0. And that's just a judge's call. There's no rule about that. But I'm going to say that since you guys are generally non-lethal in your approach, that you, I mean, he's in fact, he's in really bad shape. And as you recall, his name is Camber Cursed Claw.
No.
He always has bad
Uh-oh.
luck. So in fact, the final blow was Alexi's. So actually, I'm gonna let Kevin roll this. Roll 2d6 for the equivalent roll for Camber, the equivalent
Bites the
all right.
dust.
luck roll, the bite the dust roll. Yeah.
All right. I rolled a 7.
Okay, so he is still alive. He's unconscious.
I didn't modify that at all. That was I actually rolled a 7.
So, yeah,
rather
that's
than-
fine. No modifier. Yeah.
Okay.
He's incurred a major permanent injury of my choice, and he'll die within 1 hour and without proper treatment. So this is Alexi's. So Alexi returns. Vlastimir's gone, but Alexi, upon assessing the situation with Camber, is that unless you care for him, he's bleeding out. And his major permanent injury is you basically give him a major concussion, and he's like, he's gonna lose the sight in one eye, and he's got a cracked skull.
Well, maybe he'll never smell again.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, sure.
Because of the-
Okay, yeah, there's that too. I mean, he's yeah, his days.
His fighting days are probably
yeah.
over, unless my colleagues object. Alexi's pretty mad about this, but he doesn't have it in him to like just end this guy in cold blood, and is going to try to keep him going unless people feel strongly about that.
You have to save him.
Yeah, right on. All right, so I burned all my favor, but I do actually have a healing kit with herbs that I can use, which is slow in its action, but I think we have. My intent would be to use that to try to stabilize him.
Okay.
Does that sound reasonable, Jason, or
That's
do you
great.
think I would need to lay on hands to like keep him alive?
It would be either one of those will work. Yeah, but with they just require like it'll be a roll either way.
Oh, okay.
Well, sorry, lay on hands. Wait, you're what alarm are you? Neutral? Oh yeah,
Neutral.
you can heal all people.
Yeah, really. I'm the O negative of of clerics.
Let me read lay on hands.
Colleagues, you're okay with this, right? Laylee's all right with this. Boga, you're all right. I mean, I know you guys went to school together. You were Cubs, right?
I made that up.
I mean, this guy was kind of monstrous to us, right? I mean, he killed one of our guys, and we're gonna try to be merciful.
Boga's one of the bogus traits is malicious. I don't usually act on it, but I could see him not giving a crap about this guy
Yeah.
and
So
moving on.
Alexi,
No,
sorry, go ahead, Beth.
I just think that we shouldn't have more than one person people die because of this. And I know that Vlastimir died because of him, but it just doesn't seem right, you know? And it's kind of our fault. So I think you should heal him.
Okay. Yeah, no, I agree.
So
All right,
Alexi, to lay on hands, you need favor. You're at 0, so you'd have to take time to pray, which is
Yep.
totally you can do. Or you can just make a roll with the healing kit.
You know what? I'm gonna lay on hands. I'm gonna try to pray.
And what does that look like?
So pray is Alexi is singing a song, a prayer to Zemdrach, just asking for his favor. It's one of the common Zemdrachi prayers.
And usually I'd back up Alexi, but I'm not going to do it because I'm
All right.
off.
Let's see. I get +1 to this roll because I have my holy symbol. And I got an 8, so favor equal to current level. So I gained 3 favor.
Okay.
And then, gotcha. So I have to burn 1 constitution to do the lay on hands, which I will do. And then I'm rolling. And I got a, great, now I rolled a 9. So this heals him 3 hit points or ability points.
Okay, great.
And the sense of this is to we use Zemdrach's power to disable and this violence, and we want to try to heal and make some kind of recompense to not have this guy die.
Okay.
Regret.
Yeah, so there's a
And why didn't he listen? Nobody listens.
He opens both eyes, and one is just red with blood, and as he kind of surges back to life for a moment and then passes out again. I think getting him back to town is going to need Rafida is once she's a little more functional, she's basically submitted to capture, right? You've got her spear. Once she regains her strength, she's going to help haul him back because he can't move on his own. So it's a long exhausting journey back to town.
Hey Kevin, what do you think the Buma last rites are? Are we gonna
what are the last rites of Arthu, huh?
Yeah.
You're gonna perform the Yeah, Kevin, is there a something that the Buma do in particular, regardless of their deity?
I think that the Buma might have a there's a word for it, but when you leave the body on an elevated place and let
air burial.
Air burial, yeah. I think that seems the most appropriate for the Buma.
To just leave them in a high spot?
Yes.
Okay, great. And on the way back, there's a number of
and I think for our food I think what it might be is you can't take it with you, so the rights involve those present claiming a piece of property from the deceased.
Oh,
ambition and theft.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
So
you didn't make it.
The question is, do you guys follow the rights of Arthu, even though you've,
or do they even, or if they know what they are? But I'm lying there. My stuff is all there anyway.
Yeah. I think Alexi must have some familiarity with.
Yeah, Alexi probably knows the rights of Arthu,
Yeah.
and will probably share that with my colleagues.
Just supposed to take his stuff? That doesn't seem right.
Yeah. Well, that's Arthu for you. Ambition and theft.
Yeah. I have scale armor, a buckler, warhammer, a bow made from farwax sinew. So for what that's worth, as the bowstring. So and a bunch of trail rations and 28 silver.
You know what?
So
Actually,
there's
if
the
we really
tradition
want to
that,
make this a holy war against Arthu, we know exactly what Arthu would want in this situation, and we can be like, "We're gonna do that."
So you
I
don't
mean-
take anything?
No, I think if this is what he would have wanted, then we should do it.
Those are 28 silver pieces. Oh,
And-
great. The only treasure we end up with is what we stripped off our fallen companion. My God.
Kevin, does each person presiding at the burial take one item?
Yes.
Do you each take something?
Laylee will. Does he have anything on him that's not like does he have a signet ring or a piece of jewelry or something small, like something that wouldn't be valuable, but something that would be personal to him?
Some kind of
He
token?
has a knife.
Is it like a
He
interesting
has a holy
knife?
symbol.
Oh,
it could be an interesting knife if you want. You know, I hadn't really given it a lot of thought, but
no, actually, the holy symbol is fantastic. It was. I can piss off Arthur and like do
Oh,
my
that's
thing.
nice.
I will take his holy symbol. But because it doesn't seem right to just take something of his and just leave him here, I'm gonna leave him something of mine too. Laylee doesn't have much that actually belongs to her that is meaningful. So I'll take this silk scarf out of my hair because that's the only sort of meaningful thing I have. I guess I don't get to look cool anymore, but I will like wrap him in it when we put him on this like bier. So,
Okay.
like that.
Does Alexi take something?
Oh, you know what? Alexi's greedy. Alexi's taking the silver. Sorry, pal.
Is it a violation of Arthur's right to take all the silver as opposed to one piece of silver?
I'm taking the bag of silver. It's a collective noun.
Okay.
yeah.
All right. You've taken
But
silver.
actually, maybe it is a violation of Arthur's right. I don't know, Kevin. What do you think?
No,
Okay.
I think the followers of Arthur would be very interested in making sure they claim the silver. You know, it usually doesn't make it to the funeral, to be honest.
Yeah, right. It goes missing on the way there somehow. Yeah.
And the
The
bow's
rights
very
haven't
valuable.
I think the rights haven't clarified this rule so that Arthur can see the fights that go on around the silver. So it's like, I don't know.
All right, Alexi takes the silver. What about does Boga take anything?
Boga is attracted by the sinew on that bow,
Ooh.
and he has been thinking about getting into stringed instruments. So maybe this is something that will push him over there. So he's going to take the bow, and maybe
All right.
not use it as a bow.
All right, great.
While we're taking things, there are two things I want. One, I want to keep the nose ring I ripped out of our
Ooh,
wolf.
yeah.
I'm going to get a ribbon for that and wear that around my neck as a trophy.
Whoa.
Or as like a reminder of this particular like tragic event. Also, I want fucking what's her name's boots, Rafita's boots.
She's got bigger feet than you.
Oh shit! Really?
She's a big
2 layers
woman.
of socks, man. 3
And
pairs of socks.
You're a 15-year-old acrobat.
I wanted her boots. I want to take something from her.
You can
Damn
take
it.
her boots, but
She's got that spear.
she does have a fancy spear. It's pretty big, but
I just wanted her boots. Okay. I take them anyway. I'm gonna grow into them.
okay. That's true. You're right. Maybe you haven't had your final growth spurt yet.
Probably
Right.
not, but I'm on my character sheet. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them, but I'm
Right.
going to.
You got them.
Didn't you lose your shoes in the first episode?
Yeah.
Her heels. Yeah.
That's why I want the boots, but yeah, I'm gonna do something with these. I'll figure it out.
All right. Back to town. So in this image here, that leftmost peak in the sort of middle ground is where you guys do the air burial for Vlastimir. It's like a long hike up there to lay him out, and then you return to town. And You come through Fortune's Gate with these two in tow, looking the worse for wear, and Sirajuddin is there. They're both of them are there on the plaza, right? When you guys show up. And Sirajuddin just kind of like stares, doesn't say anything, just kind of like unblinkingly stares, totally emotionless, with his like lacquered red claws there, just kind of like stares. And Abir like brightens and is clearly elated, and he like sees you coming through the gate, and then he turns and looks at Sirajuddin with this like look of just like gloating pleasure, and then turns back, and all Sirajuddin does is he has his little claws up, and he just kind of like watches you passively as you move over towards Abir's shop, and then he just turns and walks back into his shop with like has no visible reaction to this event.
As we drop off Rafida with her patron, I say, so that thing I said about Thamira and Satara wasn't true. I'm just, just to clear the air. They weren't living together.
She was already unhappy. So you make a move to like, you expect her to go over to Sirajuddin, but she's like, it's over. Like she has failed. They've both failed. He wants nothing to do with her, and she knows it. So she does not go anywhere near his shop. You say that, and she just kind of like looks at you with this like grimace on her face, and drops, or actually sort of sets what's his name? Sets Camber down by the fountain there on the side. She like, whoever, maybe it was Boga was helping carry him, or somebody's helping carry him, sort of sets him there. He just kind of like slumps down, like staring at you all with his red eye. And then she just walks off.
Well, at least now she knows the truth. And at home or something, right? Right?
The truth did not serve us terribly well tonight, I have to say. Like, I was really hoping for better outcomes. Does either Camber or Rafida look like they might be looking for a change in religious alignment? Because Zemdrax, Zemdrax has really got a lot of good stuff going on for him if anybody's looking to change their life.
They're gonna need some time to.
Yeah, probably. Is Camber gonna bleed out there on the fountain? Is he gonna like?
No. You've got him back in good enough shape where he's gonna take a while for him to recover, but he's like, it's like a permanent injury, and he'll be okay. You don't have to attend after him.
Okay, gotcha. We just, don't want to just dump the guy and let him, so he's got a place to go, and someone will look after him. Is that fair?
You have no idea.
Oh gosh. Okay. He's not talking.
No.
This is the way of the world.
He's been, all you've heard out of him this whole trip home is just like groans and occasional growls and like sullen silence.
All right.
Boga, maybe you don't sing a song about what happened on this adventure.
I don't have any material here.
I think that's probably, good. I don't think people need to hear about this.
Don't worry.
Except maybe sing a song about Vlastimir and what a brave man he was.
I didn't really know Vestimir that well.
Oh,
It's cold out there in the plains, man. It's just cold out there.
You have done well, my friends. You've been gone such a short time. I know that you were unable to get to the ruins, but Sirajuddin's minions have been brought to heal, yes? This is good. And he like shuffles around, and he opens up a little strong box and counts out 20 silver for you to share amongst yourselves for incapacitating the helpers. So there's 3 of you. I guess you could
Really, 6 silver.
you can pour
These
2
guys were
out.
badasses.
Pour 2 out for Vlastimir.
It?
6 silver.
But our friend died.
Such are the risks of the wild frontier, my dear. It is a shame. I was wondering why he was not with you.
Well,
I expect the rites were completed and you took his belongings. I'm sure that is payment enough. I remind you that your task was to acquire artifacts for which I will pay handsomely.
I think his life was worth more than that, and that you should pay us more.
I am not the one who got him killed.
No, but he died helping you, in service of you, and that should surely count for something. And because of his help, Rafita and Camber are probably not going to be any use to your rival. So you should pay us more.
Your ideals are charming, young one. They have no place in my shop. Return to me when you have acquired some of the desired objects.
Fine. Fine.
All right. Any final business?
Yeah, I mean, I thematically, this is where we're at. One could make an argument to him that I'm not going to. I think that was perfect interaction.
I take my 6 silver.
Clink, clink, clink.
He cheaped out on us, right? I mean, my understanding of the economy there is like 6 silver is 20 silver is not nothing, but like.
Well, a common murder costs 25 silver.
So we did an uncommon disabling times 2.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
10
cheaped
apiece.
out.
Cheaped out.
And he's cheap. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I 6 silver on Camber's like semi-conscious body, and then walk away.
Ooh.
Ooh, wow. Nice. Dang. Great. Any final detail? Boga took the silver. Great. That's all awesome. Kevin, our last shot is of the mountain area where Vlastimir is at rest. Can you give us like 1 or 2 little details about that scene?
Sure. So you see vultures sweeping overhead as his body is lying there. One of them comes down, lands on his body, and then jumps as it appears like the body twitches.
And then that's it, and then cut.
That's it. Yes, as the body appears to move, and we'll leave it there, and you can pick that up and run. I rolled a 5, so undead haunting, and you can run with that as you see fit.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Thank you.
Think of it like the Carrie moment where the hand shoots out the grave.
All right. The vulture flaps away. Kevin, make one last roll for weather to see if that portends anything. Just 2d6 straight up.
Sure thing. All right, let's see how this goes. I don't know if I want to roll low or high, but I got a 7, so I didn't do either.
Yep, some white clouds drift across that blue sky. And the credits roll. All right. I'm sure over the sound of some bagpipe. I'm sure there's like a theme song. There's like a
Totally
theme song. Okay, we're wrapping up. Thief, did you solve a problem with stealth or trickery? Indeed. You get 1 XP. Cleric, did you take action according to your cause? Yes. Bard.
No, I did not deliver memorable performance.
Wait,
Did I?
did you really not any at all?
I think I didn't.
Oh, what about, hey, we grew up together. Come on, man.
That is a performance.
That
Yeah.
wasn't
I'll
musical,
go
but
with
that
that.
was
There you go.
that
Yep,
was
yep.
that was
Okay.
a moment.
I'll
And
take
you
it.
got a 12 or an 11 on that. Like,
Yeah.
like I remember that.
There you go.
Excellent. Traits. Laylee, you're idealistic, right?
Yeah, I tried to lean into that this time.
To the hilt. Yeah. What are your other ones again?
Impatient.
Impatient. Okay, great. Alexi.
Oh, are we doing traits?
Traits, yeah.
Traits. Kind and greedy. Kind, definitely trying to diffuse tension, and I did actually take those 28 silver.
You did take the silver.
Sorry, it's greedy.
Excellent. And Boga.
I'm responsible and malicious.
Oh, very
So-
responsible. Yeah.
Yeah.
And malicious, like the way you treated Blastimir, my God.
Yeah. That's what I was going for.
And Kevin, just tell us, I mean, let's just remind us of Blastimir's traits so we can think fondly on.
Well, bold, I think I accomplished.
Oh my God.
Much my detriment. Selfish didn't come up too much, except there were a couple of moments. There was one moment where he was just when the boy was running away. I played that where he was like, "Oh, we'll be dealing for ourselves." Vane came up primarily at the beginning with the new clothing and the new look, but you gave me XP for that at the time.
Yeah, excellent, great, well done. So, I mean, Blastimir has certainly been memorable through all of his acts. Alignment, Laylee, neutral, maintain a balance or advance a personal interest.
I mean, I think she advanced a lot of personal interest. Let me be clear. But I think she actually did a balance thing. I think at the end where she left something of hers when she took something.
Oh yeah, for sure. Awesome. Alexi, same.
Yeah, keeping the balance here. I mean, trying to come up with a peaceful solution, but then also not giving into vengeance and just ending what's his name?
Life for a life. Yeah. Keep that balance.
Yeah.
Great. And Boga, are you neutral too?
I'm neutral as well.
Wow.
Yeah. I'd say not going out of my way to help Camber, but also making sure that Vesemir, we gave it a shot to save him. I'm feeling balanced.
Okay, great. Sounds good. Did you all make an exciting discovery?
I'm gonna make an argument here that I don't know if it's an exciting discovery, but I think we learned sort of this important lesson about death and how fragile life is, can go badly.
Totally.
I feel like that's what Laylee learned, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, because this is the seventh
First
mission.
death. Yeah.
It's the first death. It's like a reminder. And Laylee has been in some tight scrapes, right? I mean, you all have. You've all faced death, and so here a companion path, and that's huge. Okay, great one. Everybody gets SP for that. Did you overcome a difficult obstacle? Yes. And did you acquire some memorable booty? Nose ring.
Nose ring.
Spiritually.
They had some other stuff on them too, but I haven't rolled it up, so I'll roll that up and put it in the.
Yeah, maybe somebody gets the spear. The spear looked badass.
I got Vesemir's bow, which I'm thinking.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh God, our best booty come off our fallen companion.
That's the way it goes.
No, as the kids say, F around and find out. I think we found out.
Yeah, we definitely found out.
Though I want to say on a meta standpoint, just in terms of the game quad game piece of it, I think Laylee's idea of separating them was brilliant. And I think Vastimir's idea of, hey, look, this is our chance. We got to shoot our shot. Here's our opportunity. We got to just, take a bite at the apple when it's offered. It went badly because we rolled badly, but I feel like those were really good choices that gave us actually a better chance of surviving sorry, man, but gave us a chance of multiple people surviving this that otherwise, these guys seem both really competent. And I feel like the threat level, if they'd gotten the drop on us rather than the other way around, I think we could have lost even more party members than we actually did. This may have been a better solution. It'd been great to battle in the ruins over, some cool artifact. And maybe we'll I'd love for us to be able to do run this mission again, or at least to try to push forward on this goal. But I think both of those decisions were really solid and in character, and really drove the drama and pushed the conflict forward, which dramatically for me as a player was really exciting, because it was not like the arc I was expecting, and it was suddenly like, oh my gosh, the Act 3 conflict is happening right now in the first 15 minutes, and that was pretty exciting. Looping her back, having her bolt and looping her back with the air scouting also seemed awesome to me. So, and then just choking her out, and then Boga's like, oh, pal, don't you remember? Like, oh my God, those were beautiful moments.
Also, Don't Cry for Me, Argentina. So
that was great, yeah.
Let me tell you, Evita's like my favorite musical in the world, and 15
nice.
would love you for that. So.
And this one really felt like, given some of the stuff that's already been established, that this sequence of events could have very major consequences down the road too. Like, this doesn't feel like something that's over. It feels it's kicked off it'll kick off other things.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of stuff in the air right now, and this adds to it that I need to like figure out how what the dominoes are falling for sure. There's the Arthur part. There's these two people that survived but certainly don't like you. It's super interesting because it's a whole different tone. I mean, it's not a swashbuckly treasure hunting thing. This is like, it's great, really great, story came out of it, for sure.
I hope Tara still likes me. That's what I'm worried about. I don't want to lose a friend. Shit.
Well, you'll get. I guess my next time out, I'll be bringing along my Alpha and Ranger, who I started generating while we were.
Oh, really?
Last year. Yep, I started rolling up the character. I got as far as the stats. I have to figure out what I want to exchange around. But yes, he's an Alpha and Ranger.
Awesome. We haven't had a Ranger yet.
I rolled an 18 charisma, and I am trying to decide whether to keep it there or to move it to something useful. Yeah, I know, it's ridiculous, right?
Oh my God,
actual
that's
18 on 3d6.
Oh, that's great. Exciting. I'm glad that you got right back into it.
Oh yeah. I figured from the nature of the game that characters can die. It's part of the game, and you want to go out in an interesting way if that happens.
Yeah, mission accomplished as far as that goes. All right, you guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
Question for long-term legacy. Are we going to try to run this again when there's an opportunity? I think it would be cool. And it would, Kevin, if you're up for it, I think it would be kind of thematically cool to have the Ranger join us for
another mission. Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
If that feels cool for people.
Yeah, this is
awesome.
The artifact hunt is kind of an open thing. It doesn't go away because the guy's always looking to collect, and you don't have to get them from the place he sent you to. You can go anywhere and look for them, but he just knows about this place. So anytime you want to put together an artifact expedition, you can. And I need to look at my schedule and figure out.
Sure. Yeah, no, that's because Alexi's curious. Like this, go across the river to the far side where the cool stuff is, and we've taken out some rivals, so that gives us hopefully a little extra
leg up
time to maneuver and fit it in. But that would be fun.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, actually having a Ranger involved would be great because
so cool.
I don't know if anybody else has wilderness survival skills, but Alexis does.
Yeah, no, that would be fun.
Oh yeah, everybody should mark off one ration.
Wow,
it was kind of a out and back, but you definitely ate some food along the way.
This was fucking insane, man. Thanks for running this, Jason. This is not how I expected to spend my.
Me neither. Crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
And thanks for the art, man. The art's great. I love
great.
the scene setting, all this stuff. Really, I feel like just looking at those two character portraits, I already was like, oh geez, these guys are much tougher than we are. Like it was really good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I had that feeling too. That
was the idea. Good. I'm glad that had that effect. All right.
All right.
Until next time.
Night, everyone.
Good night.